to bring a lot of pace to the table, and so I think they're just getting more and more used to what you have to do, and maybe more used to the pressure of just having one attempt and it being on broadcast, and that's making the difference. And I think for Ryan, especially today, he's driving the Seat Cordoba, a fan favorite, and that's quite quick in a straight line. So if he can keep it within the snowbanks, let's say, on the road, if you can see the road beneath the snow, then he'll be doing a pretty good job, I think, this evening. And that's my first jinx of the evening as well.
Yes, I've got a few pre-baked jinxes to come up. By the way, the minus 1,000 EXR Kamikaze, that's on purpose. He actually hasn't done a race, but I'm putting him 1,000 points back because why not? I'm sure he'll like that, right? I just wanted him to be behind me and Timmy Kettles. So now he is. Maybe I'll reset that at the end of the day. Who knows? See how lucky he is.
I think that's some sort of commentator's bias, isn't it? Maybe that the commentators are ahead of one of our previous season's championship favourites.
Yeah, absolutely. He did win a championship by a hair at Rally Sweden back in was it season 4? That one, I think it was season 4. Which it was when I started actually calling people out and saying yes, they are the champion without actually doing any of the math to work out if they're champion. Famously, last time out, I said that Vlembar was champion, and in fact, it was you, Isa. I just really didn't want you to be champion. What can I say?
Well, for some reason, the Creator Series always goes down to the wire. Even if we don't intend it to go that way, something just ends up being thrown into the works, like a disconnect or a hardware problem, and it ends up bringing it down to the final stages sometimes. So this season could be the same. Vlembar going very, very strong as well, and well, myself, maybe I'll hit a snowbank or two in this one. I will admit, Sweden is one of those rallies where you have to commit flat out, and the problem with that is if you do something wrong, especially with these four-wheel drive cars, you're instantly going off into a snowbank or a tree or rolling multiple times.
Yes, that's something I have personal experience of here. There is a YouTube short out there where I set a record. I don't think anyone has beaten my record. 27 flips in one crash. If you are out there and you want to try and beat the record, or prove me wrong that it has, someone's done more rolls, I'd be happy to see it because that would truly be a spectacle. It was dizzy and terrifying and proper funny. So a car I'd like to suggest in this class at least is the Peugeot 206 because that car wants to crash. Like that. Yeah. That's the only way I can describe it. Like you go around the corner, it's like, yeah, you don't have any no control of this, no balance. You are just going flying.
I'd also recommend the Lancer Evo. The Evo 6 is quite not only tail happy, but also quite heavy in terms of weight high up. So if you do tip it onto its side, like clip a bank on the inside, you're definitely going rolling. As I think, no, this is still shakedown. So we still got Ryan in shakedown. As you can see, the bar there's no like splits in the bar, so that means it's just one sector, which is the standard format for a shakedown. So he's driving and just getting that fresh set of tires on the car so that on snow at least you can change tires every single service, so it's no worries about tire wear really. You can push them flat out, you can wheel spin them for the entire stage if you want, and they should still be fine.
Yep, that was indeed a little bit of shaky footage there. Hopefully that isn't FEMA tonight, but I know Ryan has been having some very specific issues. Aero here running with the fog off. He's locked in here.
He is definitely locked in, and this is such a difficult stage to start with. The start of the Umea stage, I forget the name of it, Umea Sprint, there you go, is the first stage. That's quite simple, would you believe? But yeah, you can be really caught out by the junction here, which is actually the opposite to the long stage. So you come from the opposite direction and you go junction left, whereas this is junction right, and many times I've seen drivers just go straight on or turn the wrong way and go straight into a course car. As you can see, the visibility from Punju's perspective is basically nothing.
Yeah, all the feeds are picking tonight. My encoder has just complained at me very loudly. So I will battle in the background to try and work out what's going on, because that is very unusual.
Yeah, things happen, issues happen. Anybody that's watched a live stream of mine knows that as well. But yeah, as you can see from Punju's perspective, that lovely dashboard that he's got, and lovely switches on the side as well. Press all of the shiny buttons, in my opinion. That's always what you want to do. So characteristics of this stage really are different to the old Swedish stages, in that it's not got very many fast flowing corners, it's many junctions, and that actually helps in the fog because you have a lot of arrows to indicate where you're going, where you need to start braking or turning in. And that means that drivers can concentrate on going a little bit more flat out. Obviously, you need the confidence, and as you can see from Punju here, there's quite a few of these blind junctions where the snowbanks actually just hide visibility even without the fog, so you've got to just guess where you're starting to brake, and that can be very, very difficult in the 99 Focus that he is driving, because the older cars have a tendency to swap ends on the brakes, so you have to either change the brake balance or be quite careful with the brakes. And so even if you're trail braking, you've just got to carry that extra tiny little bit of caution. As Punju getting it all wrong there, and he has gone for a spin. I thought he was going to recover that, and I was going to say a wonderful recovery. Thumbs up, though. That's how you want to start a Colin McCrash compilation, as they say. Hopefully it won't go the way of the 99 season, but he started off well, let's say. And I must say, with this car combo and track combo, it reminds me very much of Colin McRae Rally 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Just was about to say, I think the feet of a Tugubri just taking a lovely nosedive again, but I'll give you a little bit of a lease and leaf. It was characteristic of Punju. When he has a moment, he just gives a little thumbs up. But there we are, really quick stage, that opening stage here. I believe it's the Umeå Sprint, which is one of the new DLC stages that we are at. Yeah, there we are, 5.2 kilometers. So a quick dash, and how are you liking the new DLCs?
I love the cars, and to be honest, the stages are really, really nice. I think it brings a lot of different characteristics to Sweden, as I said. So you had a lot of the flat out stages where you just try and go left and right with just dabbing the brakes from time to time. This is a lot more technical. You've got to judge the braking zones, and so it makes it a more rounded sort of rally where you can, as we've done here in the Creator Series, pick and choose the stages where they've got varying tempos, so you've got to adapt to what you can do. And so that's something that it was missing a little bit. And then obviously with the Greek stages that we did last week, that's the same thing. It had a lot more open features to that stage, at least for the start of Harvati stage. So that brought a lot of great characteristics I remember, for example, from Dirt Rally 2. So it's a really nice addition. And then obviously iconic cars like that 99 Focus, but I'll also add liveries, for example, like the 1999 Peugeot 206 livery that I'll be running. Iconic stuff, and I think that was what they were going for. They certainly nailed it.
Yep, so Ryan L83, he's been having a few issues with lightness, but we are riding on boards here through this first stage. Vlembar, super quick out there. You know what? Let's just go early. He's the champion this season. I'm just going to say it. I might as well. I got it wrong last time. Vlembar, champion this season. He didn't want me to say that. But he said he'd take it, actually. He said he'd take it, so that's fine. Going to go over the big jump into the tight technical section and just throw it around here. It's super, super fun. I've really enjoyed these stages as well. Ryan as well, just chucking it towards the end there.
That's a really good time by Ryan. Most of the people not running the sort of post-2008 cars are running the Cordoba for that straight line speed. So we'll have to have a look at 311. That puts him just outside the top 10. It puts him in P17 approximately. P19, there we go. Just behind. There's a huge amount of people on the 311s right there. So not too far. And that's a 313. So actually, Ryan is faster than Vlembar on that opening stage. That is not something that I expected.
That is super, super quick. He's clearly enjoying that Seat Cordoba. It's a car you ran in when we did Rally Chile, I believe, last season. He's actually been praising it and saying it's quite a good car. So he's cooking. There's also been a bit of a gentleman's agreement, let's say, between the creators, saying let's not pick the top four cars in this class because they are cut above. We're talking about the Mini Countrymans, the 08 Impreza, the Ford, and also the C4.
Yeah, for sure. Those cars are class above the rest, both in terms of acceleration and top speed, but also in terms of just pure grip and braking ability. So anybody taking those cars does have a distinct advantage, and it's of no surprise that we see two C4s at the top. Although with Lawless in third place in the Seat Cordoba, I have to commend that time a lot. Wanted to point out as well, to do with the championship, might want to call it Vlembar's way anyway, because nobody has managed to defend a championship for the moment in Creator Series WRC, as we saw Punju having a little bit of an off there. Thankfully, the snowbanks on these older stages are not that high, but they can cost you so much time and damage if you do that on the Umeå stage. So this one, probably one of the ones that you don't want to be running in fog, because it is quite flat out and you've got quite a few jumps and lined corners to go for. So you really need to be on maximum concentration as much as possible. And so listening to the co-driver calls, I think most people will have the visible pace notes enabled so that they can focus 100% on what they're seeing in front of them, and or what they're lacking of seeing in front of them, more like, actually, and they can use their peripheral vision to just get an idea of what the co-driver is saying specifically, because sometimes you focus so much you forget to just take in what the co-driver is telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. So on to the second stage now, which is the Loftus Storm. No, that's not how you say it, but Punju's not how you're driving. Flew into the trees, and oh, that's
and he's
a bit
also
of
powers it.
Yeah.
Yep, he's going to have to try. Yep, thread and needle, good stuff. He's managed to recover it without a penalty. That is good. But you can see the difference in visibility, by the way. Look at the difference. They are basically on the same amount, maybe a couple of corners back. Yeah, Aerotech's about to encounter that barrier that Punju encountered. So there it is, about 10 seconds apart. The difference in visibility is just crazy with the fog and without the fog. So the people that aren't driving with fog are driving it without it for technical reasons, either instability or stuff like that linked to their configuration of computer. So they're not trying to gain an advantage, and each one of them has said that they prefer to drive with fog on, just down to the immersion and experience. Look at that. You can hardly see anything at all, just a faint line. The only thing you can see is that little strip of gravel ice that there is on the road, in the center of the road where the snow has been cleared, and you've just got to follow that as much as you can. Again, thumbs up where he thinks that he nearly went for a roly-poly there, and he nearly went again, up into the snowbank, recovered it on the handbrake. Lovely stuff, clipping the bank on the other side, recovered it, and pointing the right direction as well. Navigating that junction, maybe not the best way, but a stylish way nonetheless.
Yeah, Rob, Chief Arc and chat, Ryan up for doing a stage commentary maybe later on. If I can make sure that the stream is stable, then we will certainly want to get him in. We always enjoy him doing those. Aerotech coming through the final sector of stage 2 here, and yes, he's got a lot better view here. Now, he wasn't one of the ones calling out the fog usage beforehand. I would signify that maybe fog is turned off there for Aerotech, so he's maybe got a little bit of advantage that he can see, but as you say, his computer maybe just not liking the fog and the weather effects that are in place here. So it's one big advantage that the PC users have over the console install base, talking about the likes of IRC JPH, who is of course on the PlayStation, because they can actually enable and disable that setting, as Aero is going to come to a couple of jumps here to end this stage. It gets quite fast. Oh, just
right.
tapping the
He's too far right.
That's bad.
Whoa, good recovery though.
Wow, I thought he was going off into the stratosphere there. That was lucky, and now he has a service. So, not what you want to do, but a little bit of time lost. But if you're going to crash, you want to recover like that, don't you?
Yeah, I was thinking just before he went airborne, before that crest, I was thinking you're too far to the right. You've got to go a little bit to the left over. It does say left over crest, and you have to stick to that because there's a big snowbank on the outside that 9 times out of 10 will roll you. Somehow he clipped the front of the car and it lifted it up, which stabilized the rear, so he didn't actually roll. And good recovery though between the posts there, as you see JPH there, no choice but to run with the fog, and Kamikaze running without the fog. He's definitely going for the win, and I don't blame him. Not being able to compete in the entirety of the season this season, so he's just going for outright victory and nothing less. So we'll expect him to either win or crash, and we'll see what we can. We'll see what we can jinx him with, maybe in the later stages. He's got enough jinxes with the weather at the moment. Oh, into the snowbank as I say that. No penalty, though. It's fine. I haven't jinxed him too much.
I think we just need to put a muzzle on you, don't we, Isaac?
As always.
But yeah, Kamikaze. I actually picked his car today, the Skoda Fabia. No other reason than no one else has really picked the Skoda,
You're cool.
and I wanted everyone to have a different car on the podcast, which is the case today. Not many times we've done that before. I did actually use the Fabio in Rally Chile for the club, which of course you could get involved with. Exclamation mark WRC.
What are you doing for a spin?
Oh, Kamikaze! He's pushing hard, isn't he? He's pushing hard.
Yeah, I think that was just a line error, to be fair. He got a little bit late, or far away from the apex on the right-hander, and so that meant that when he turned in for the left-hander, he was literally just a wheel into the deep snow on the inside of the corner, and it just drags you around. There's nothing you can do to stop it. The best thing you can do is apply the brakes, but he wanted to carry the speed, and it just pulled him round into the deep snow. And he's lucky to not get a corner cutting penalty or anything, but he'll be quite annoyed that it even happened in the first place. Let's say that much.
Yep. Does the same thing as Aerotech. Goes the wrong way around the flying finish board. Is that naughty, or did you just say, it's fine as long as you reach this invisible line marker? You're fine.
As soon as you reach the marker, that's fine. We had multiple people at Chile, if I remember correctly, going the wrong way through one of the finish lines. So literally going next to the finish line. And that still works. It still registers your time. In real life, you get a hefty penalty. I think Elfyn Evans got a 20-second time penalty. But in Rally Sweden, actually, in 2020... I want to say 23, but it might... Yeah, it was definitely 23. I'll commit to the 23.
Committing to 23.
Committing to the 2023. I can't wait to be proven wrong, but he basically crashed on one of the night stages. I think it was the Umeå sprint stage, and literally just went into a car park, basically. But crossed the line, so there was a time registered, but seeing as he hadn't crossed the finish line correctly, he hadn't crossed the timing beam, essentially, then he was given a penalty. But the timing beam in the game just crosses the entire line.
It's happy, It's happy. Right, okay, actually, let's get Kamikaze in for a quick interview. The first interview of this Season 6 challenge. Great to have you back, Kamikaze. First question, how's the Fabia?
It's good. A little bit of setup tweak before the start, but it's good.
Man of many words. Isa.
Yeah, how was the foggy or snowy conditions? Were they not optimal for you? We saw a few little mistakes. Was that due to the weather conditions or just lack of grip?
Lack of rallying last 4 weeks. First time I'm in the rig now. First stage is last stage. Since the last creators in season 5. So, yep. This is what we got this time. Nothing more, nothing less.
You'll take a few stages to get back into the focus and full push mode. I can estimate that you're going for the victory or nothing else today, aren't you?
I had no pace overall, but in the creator series, yes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Not being with the sort of overpowered cars, you can't really compete for overall victory. But have you got any strategies? Any person you want to beat in particular?
No, but I will be the best squad overall. That's for sure. I need to push for that, and I think we can manage to get. Okay, we are top 10 now overall after 2 stages, but we will see in the end and take what we got. So no practice, no. Gareth picked the car for us, and yeah, let's have fun.
Excellent. Well, we're looking forward to seeing how you do, and best of luck out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
always great to hear from him.
yeah, it is. It really is. He's a man of few words, isn't he, at times?
A few words of focus and determination. Let's put it that way. He's always one to be thinking about the next stage, and that's why he's very few words, because he's already thinking about what he's got to do next and what he can change on the car, any settings. I can guarantee you he'll be messing with the setup still towards stage 5 or
There's
6,
now-
and
I did a
then
barrel- I did a
hopefully
barrel
you know
on
he
me
can
last
get everything
time,
sorted.
too.
But you know when you've spent so little time in the rig, you can just lose sort of touch with the subtle force feedback or subtleties of virtual rallying, and you can lose seconds that way.
I think they may have just done a very quick stage there, because usually we do 2 stages and we have a service, so there's a little time to do an interview. I've come to an end of it, and all at the end of what is a very, very quick stage, Alexon. What is it like? It's the shortest stage certainly on this this rally. Like one of the shortest stages in the game, isn't it?
I think it's 1 minute and 40 seconds or something, if I remember correctly. It's literally flat out, apart from 2 or 3 junctions or blind corners. Well, if you're people at the top of the leaderboard, maybe 2 braking zones, and that's it. And so you know it's 3.4 kilometers, but you know that goes in no time really. And so I think the target time is 1:35 is the best performance so far on the leaderboard in a C4 though. So you're going to be missing a few seconds if you're in another car, but you know that's basically a Formula 1 lap.
Yeah, well, Blenbar is about to go out on that 3rd stage, so this is going to be run through it. We'll go all the way through it. It's actually it's the one I probably played the most in time trial because it's so short. You can just really try to reiterate and improve and improve and improve. Quite a fast start, and then slows down to a little technical section halfway through. But yeah, it's fantastic. And Blenbar running the fog here, so really stretching out into the unknown. Do you feel like when you're driving, you can push as much as you can when it's foggy and not foggy? Even like obviously, if you don't know the roads ahead of you, you're gonna struggle. But because it's a video game, you know, it's very different from real life. You know, you've done these sections of stage many times. Do you still feel like you have to hold something back when you're running in foggy conditions?
I'd say if you've practiced the stage in the conditions, or you've practiced the stage many times, you can probably do it 99% flat out. You know, you always want to, unless like it's the final power stage or something, you want to go, you know, 99%, leave a tiny bit of margin on the faster corners. I'd say in general, if you haven't practiced on a slow technical stage, maybe something like Greece or Scandia even. Oh, Vlembar! Big mistake there, onto his roof. Will he recover? I don't think there's any punctures there, but that will be a little bit unsettling on what is the last stage with fog here. And then maybe damaging a bit of aero as well, which will not be very good. Thankfully, the Evo is quite a sturdy car, so he shouldn't have any problems with that. But not what you want to have happen on the fastest and shortest stage of the rally. That's the danger of it. Because it's so short, you want to push flat out, and cross line is to be a 45, yeah, 45.0, so still a good time, but does put him outside of the top 40 actually. It will put him approximately around 44th place, something like that, with
which
a
is quite
140.
low for Blenbar, right? Very, very low, but because the times are so short, it's every mistake is penalised that much more for the stage, right?
Yeah, for sure, and that's 43rd place right there, right behind Antiphalosis there, I just saw. So Antiphalosis doing a good time there. That's good stuff. But yeah, going back to the question you were asking, it's a case where you just have to go for it and hope for the best. And if you find yourself backing off in fog, you can lose just minutes per stage. I remember Richard Burns on the RAC Rally GB in 2000. And where he literally won a stage by minutes. I think he did the same in 1998, to be fair, in the Mitsubishi, where he just won a stage by minutes because it was in fog, and he was confident driving in those conditions. But unless you practice the stage, probably unless you're esports level type of practice, you can't push flat out. Unless you're Kamikaze, he'll push flat out no matter what.
Yes, he will do. That's a good thing about it. So they just starting stage 4. So Ryan is about to start stage 4. Punju is indeed on stage 4. You can see on his middle screen on the left hand side, he's just gone up to the middle sector point there. So we'll stay on board with him and see what kind of sector time he's getting, and maybe try and compare it to the others. But Punjo rocking this incredible setup. And just really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. He did tell me beforehand that he hasn't had to upgrade any of his equipment because it's just rock solid on WRC. So I am sort of hoping for a game crash for him. Is that evil? Yes. But let's just kind of make that happen. Get it out there. As this is Crane's jump, isn't it? That Punjo's about to fly over.
Yeah, Collins Crest, and in the past there's been a lot more snow there, so you can't take it flat out normally. But just clipping the inside pole on the inside. I think there's a metal post there, which you do not want to hit, but is 99 Focus very sturdy. But perhaps they built it a little bit stronger, knowing it was McRae driving it. But it looks like Punju's doing a little bit of McCrash rather than McRae, so he might want to, tune that in a little bit more, dial it in.
Yeah, what would you call a kind of McCrash equivalent for Loeb, for a kind of Sebastian Loeb type car, such as the Zara that's Aerotech driving? Because that's doorless, which isn't sold as factory by the Zara. So that wasn't homologated like that. That has fallen off somewhere.
I apologise to Belgian rally fans for the joke I'm about to make. It's the Francois Duval Citroën Zara, and if anybody knows the context to that, yes, I need not explain.
Perfect.
I feel bad, actually. I will explain. I feel bad for Francois Duval. He had a rough time at Citroën. The car a bit like Colin McRae, just couldn't adapt to the electronic differentials that came in around 2003 and after that. And effectively, he had a rough old season. And then in 2005, once the last round, I think it was, Rally Australia, just as they'd announced that he wasn't being kept for the 2006 season, he went on to actually win that rally. So, yeah, rough times. It did not save his seat, sadly, but yes, if you want a Zara with no doors on it, likely it's either Colin McRae or Francois Duval that has driven it.
Surely a good advertisement for if you are looking for a new suit. Well, yeah, they're getting rid of me, but I can still win. Right? Not all hope is lost. Yeah, if you're gonna get sacked, then go and win a rally somewhere. That's going to be good for your CV. As McKay's Crest is navigated by Ryan here. That was nice. That was very clean through there.
I appear to have lost audio, Gareth.
You've lost audio?
This is interesting. Okay. Yes, I lost you for the entirety of the time you were speaking there. I can hear you now.
That's fine.
But Discord doing weird things going on right now.
Hopefully the chat heard me, or not. I don't know if it's better just to have sounds of the cars rather than me speaking in problem.
Oh, we love to hear your voice. As much as you don't like to be thanked for doing production, we do like to hear your voice in the commentaries. I do like you jinxing the other people rather than me as well, Gareth, I must admit.
When in Rome, do as the Romans. It's very seldom that my voice is actually heard on the broadcast, so I have to get all of my jinxes out at once.
Not bad. I'm happy with that.
Indeed, yeah, you have to. I think they don't need them in Sweden, to be fair. They're going to be going into some quite fast stages in the middle of this rally. So about stage 5, so they're about to approach stage 5 now, up to about stage 8, I'd say, are quite flat out, the old stages. And then toward the end of this rally, we get into the new Umea sprint stages, and so they've got to change their driving style. And I must say, there's a few junctions in there that I've maybe driven them at least 10 times over, various different clubs and all of that. Have I gotten them right at least once? Nope. Missed the braking zone every single time, so I expect to see at least a few drivers missing their braking zones. Otherwise, I'm going to look like the clown that I usually am.
Look, that's beautiful. Oh, look.
Oh, lovely job.
Oh,
go on.
The landing was buttery. Wow.
Oh, nearly up on 2 wheels there and up on his roof. But yeah, the Fabia does like flipping over, sadly. Another car that McRae drove. There's a common theme going on here, actually. I can't figure out exactly quite what it is. But yeah, Kamikaze showing that he's here. He's not playing around, to put it that way. And, getting it perfectly flat over that jump is quite a feat to do. Although a lot more difficult the other way around, because actually most of the cars nosedive, and if you're very unlucky, you can get radiator damage, if not engine damage, from just nosediving once with the car. So maybe some drivers will back off a little bit, but it's looking like Kamikaze is going flying in this stage. Let me see if I can get some times on the board. 240. I'll put him just outside the top 10. It puts him behind Ryan. Ryan doing a great time in there, 24th.
We're good now.
And that will put him around 40th. Yeah, 40 seconds there, as you can see. Oh, we had a 5-second penalty. That is not great. But anti-cut post, I guess that is.
Yep. Let's see if we can actually grab someone in for a quick interview. Asnes is the next stage. 8:06 is the time. Should we just pull Ryan in and see if he wants to do a run? Let's just look.
He's
deafened,
currently
or
deafened.
is he on
We
a
shall
stage?
see.
Maybe he's on a stage.
He
let's move
might
back.
be on the stage.
Let's play I Spy.
Oh, he undeafened. He undeafened. He undeafened.
Oh, he's back. Ryan, are you on a stage? Let's see. I did look. No, he's not. Hello. Ryan, are you on a stage?
Hello.
Welcome in for interview. How are you doing?
Hello. Yeah. First stage I was happy with. I think, top 20, and then second stage I hit a bit of a snowbank and I did a bit of a 360 for the crowd, so lost a bit of time there. But this next two stages were probably the critical ones for me, because in practice I've had a few incidents along the way with punches, but both kept it clean. And I'm not sure where I am overall at the minute, but I feel happy with my pace at the minute. So, but we've got some big boy stages coming up now. So,
so you don't want to commentate the big boy stages, is what you're saying?
Oh, nah.
Oh, come on. They're short. They might be long in kilometers, but not in time.
Oh dear.
How's the Cordoba driving? I must ask this question, because I know when I chose it last season in Chile, a lot of people weren't agreeing with my choice. So what's your analysis of this?
Honestly, for Sweden, it's actually not a bad car to choose. I mean, I did test all the cars, and this was the quickest for me in terms of my driving style and setup. So it was this, or I was going to pick the Skoda, realistically, but this I just felt nice, and it's nice to see that I did pick this car, because everyone's picked a different one. So we have a nice range of cars for everyone to watch on the broadcast, which is really good. But for this car, it's just nice and stable for me. The only downside that I've seen is the top line, straight line speed is going to be an issue on the next stage, because I've kind of gone a bit more conservative on the gears. So I may struggle a bit near about halfway through stage 5. But may make some adjustments on the next service when we get to the newer DLC stages where there's a lot of straights, and that may compromise me a little bit, but may help me. We'll have to wait.
So, but just looking at the tables here, you're about 15 seconds off of Kamikaze, who is apparently leading at the moment, with Vlembar less than 10 seconds ahead of you. So, do you think this could be your chance to maybe get at least in contention for a second victory?
If I'm going to be honest, no. I don't want to bring it down. I know it's nice to hear that I'm only 15 seconds behind alien people, but I mean, you know, my streak in this series, always have bad starts, and then I slowly come through, get close as I can at the end. But I think the next 4 stages are going to be critical, and a bit of a downside for me is when I get to stage 8 to 12, I have to get out of the cockpit cam because I have a big solar flare view of my windshield. So I'm going to have to go in hood cam, which is a bit of a disadvantage for me because I don't feel faster in hood cam, which may sound a bit weird for a lot of people for me to say that, but I actually prefer the cockpit view. But from a actual driving perspective, it's not great when you can't see any snowbanks on the left or right side or the snow in front of you. So it's going to be quite a difficult 4 stages near the end. But I mean, if I can get within a minute and a half to them by the end of the rally, I'll be very happy. But the aim for me is to be the highest non-alien. So if I can beat the likes of Aero, JPH, Punju, that'll be great. But if I can get anywhere close to the 2 the quick guys of Henry Cookie, who did his earlier, Vembar, Kamikaze, and also you, John, when you do your run later on in the Peugeot. If I can get anywhere close, it'll be like a win for me tonight. But things can happen in this rally. I mean, I've heard Vembar's had issues in practice rolling the car. So people can make mistakes and just got to keep it clean.
Yeah, that's a great summary by you there. I think that's the case of just keeping it clean, and whoever doesn't get the puncture at the end of the day will be in a contention for victory.
Indeed, that's the plan that I've took going into these rallies now, going forward, as there's opportunities like Henry last week had an issue, DNF'd, and I got second on the night, third overall when you did your run, so these things can happen, and if I can stay within the championship fight for a little bit longer, that'll be great before I drop off, so but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, fantastic having you, and good luck on these longy bongies.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Beautiful. Good news, everyone. My encoder has not died. My graphics card isn't failing. Discord is a menace. That's a lesson we've all learned here. But Ryan, great to hear from Ryan. He's enjoying that Cordoba. He's had a few issues, but I think he could be on for a decent result overall.
I think so. I think he's playing down his chances because from what I saw, just in the few practice stages that I ran with him, that he was sometimes ahead of my pace in a car like the 206. So he's got a good car, but you've got to be a good driver to drive that, and I know that he's got the pace to do that. So I've got more confidence in him than he has himself. So hopefully that translates into a non-jinx, let's put it that way.
Absolutely. The reversed jinx on yourself. It's getting strange, Isa. It's getting strange, Champion Lesbian. But here we are. The very long stage 6, I believe, that we're on. It's not even, is it stage 7 one, is it? I'm just trying to count.
We are on. We should be on stage
5.
5, yeah,
Yes.
The long stage. Yes.
Yeah.
That is it. You can see on. Oh, nice recovery! Just hands on the wheel everywhere. That's how you recover a corner like that, and very well done, I must say. Once again, Punchy just demonstrating all of the saves tonight. But yeah, he's really got a bit of confidence, I think, and he's back behind the wheel and just ready to prove himself once again. I think this has been one of his better rallies in terms of performances and in terms of times on the leaderboard. So I think he'll be quite confident going into this one. Although with the amount of times that he's hitting the snowbanks, he's not taking any sort of cautious vibes into these stages.
I think that thumbs up has been up. That thumb has been up far too much for it to be. so good. Oh, he's just sending it. It's just full send, like to the detriment.
Yeah,
of every
Aerotech
part of
really
his car.
getting sideways there on the jumps. These are critical times as well, because if you go too far wide into these jumps, you can land in deep snow or hit the bank and roll. A very common crashing point here. These this midpoint of the stage is crucial because it's the fastest bit of Rally Sweden, and you're basically on the rev limiter all of the time, if not accelerating to the rev limiter. And there's a few corners where you have to just lift off a little bit, and if you don't, if you forget about it, or if you think, that's easy flat, it will be easy flat, but it'll be your tyre, or indeed the entire car.
Long crest, 100.
Yep, JPH at this fast section now, and just on the rev limiter. And JPH is, and I'm genuinely hoping not to jinx it here, because I really I just love the way he drives. It's always so deliberate, considered. Right? There's no ragged edge. There's no over using the steering wheel. He's just very direct and flowing compared to some of the other drivers. He's just a fantastic driver, and I love his driving style so much.
Yeah, he's what I'd say like a Carlos Sainz type driver. They're not the Formula 1 Carlos Sainz, Carlos Sainz Senior at this point. Although I call Carlos Sainz Junior in the F1, I guess. Is that showing my age? Yes, it probably is. But anyway, moving on from that, JPH getting it really sideways there. That's one of the jumps I was talking about where you can't afford to do that, because 9 times out of 10 you will roll. You noticed he did lift off there, but even then he went a little bit sideways. So in that 206, it's easy to roll the car here. And I do think that he's got that sort of mentality of the old school drivers, where you've got to finish first you have to finish, and you have to just get a measured approach into the turns, into the stages, and into the entire rally. And he works a lot on consistency, and it definitely shows. And in the driving style, a smooth approach with these cars can actually be very beneficial, because they do have limited power. If you start going sideways, you can't just continue the power slide like you can in the Rally 1 cars or in Group B. Kamikaze off the road, I'm noticing on the other cameras that we have, all the way off the stage. That's at the end of the flat out straights that we have, one of the only places where you're not turning at all. I think what he's tried to do is carry 5th gear or 6th gear into that turn, and it's not gone well as he goes up the snowbank once again. But that could have been a lot worse. There's a lot of logs in there and other stuff that you can hit, tree stumps for example, but he managed to find none of those in there, and he's got away with it scot-free, I think.
Yeah,
Although not...
almost said it. That would have been perfect timing. That would have been your worst jinx yet. But Kamikaze surviving it. I was going to say is that his bonnet, because I'm from the UK, his hood, if you're from maybe over the Atlantic, is still on. So to me, that car is far too.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh my days! That is, as soon as he went over the crest there sideways, I knew he was in trouble, because that is a section where you cannot afford to do that. And he was straight on the brakes. He knew it himself. He was on the brakes, hoping to not roll the car in the snow and just clip the trees, but again got away with it. That's 2 huge saves that we've seen in the space of 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's pushing. It's a car he's not too familiar with, but you know, good for him. He carries on unscathed, let's say. Just a little bit of a few worries here or there, but still, JPH had a moment. JPH had a little bit of a moment. I thought he was going to be going off sideways there, but actually just kind to him across the terrain there and didn't pitch him into a roll.
It's consistent track extending, as I was saying before. He's very consistent and never throws it off the stage, so all is good. It's fine. No jinxes in the commentary box tonight, Gareth.
No, certainly not.
Kamikaze's off again. I just want to point that out. He is spun around on.
He's back on. By the time I came to, he's back on. It's fine.
He's again. This is 3 times lucky now on the fastest section of this rally. I can't quite believe it, because anytime I would go off there, it would be a rally-ending crash. So he's got that knowledge, that stage knowledge that you need to just push enough to be fast. But if it does go wrong, you can recover the car.
Maybe he's just going after that challenge I spoke about, you know, most amount of rolls, and he's just bailing out of it because he knows that's not going to be quite the same amount of rolls as I had. So just picking his right moment to really go off bad style. Let's see with that one. And
I think he has a puncture.
as well.
I think Kamikaze has a puncture. I'm sorry to point this out, Gareth. Sorry to talk over you. I am quite convinced that Kamikaze has a puncture here. Just looking at the way the car is handling, and I think I saw some sort of tyre blowout. You know, the suspension did something very weird. The fact that he's weaving side to side on the straights is very, very weird. Yeah, no, there's no way he'd make a mistake like that. In 4th gear, he's way too high gear. Yeah, I think so. I think it might be a rear right puncture. You can see by the way the car is weaving. He's just having to control it on power, and then as soon as he goes on the brakes, it's trying to flip. And we've got JPH in trouble as well. He's gone off just before the finish line there, again on a flat out section. So the darkness maybe of the stage, as it gets, you start in sunset and then it gets darker as you go on, and so with such a long stage you basically end the stage at night, and that is going to be disastrous if they can't see where they're going and if they can't find the grip to save themselves a little bit. But for JPH, that's really I'd say lucky to make a mistake at the end of the stage, especially on such a long one.
Yes, no service at the end of the stage.
Oh dear.
I hope that Kamikaze has packed an extra set of boots. I don't think he's the kind of mindset to do that. As he, that was all right. That was fine. I take that every day. That's barely a crash, is it really? Yeah. He's not the mindset to pack an extra set of boots, is he usually?
No, he's not. I will say, with an incident there on the rear right, at least there's no tyre to puncture there. there is good news about that. If you've already punctured the tire, you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, I think he's quite angry about just having that mistake. We know Kamikaze wants to go for the win every single time, so if he's not able to do that, and you can see a little bit of a scratch of the head there. This is sadly the 2 seasons ago Kamikaze that we had that was just in trouble in many rallies, or was it 3 seasons? I think it was 3 seasons ago actually, because 2 seasons ago he won the championship. So I can't say that about him, but he's had a few seasons where he's been just a bit all over the place and pushing a bit too hard, and that might be the case. But you can get unlucky as well. I'm not discounting that either.
Yeah, it was actually all the way back in season 1. Kamikaze sent some stages in saying,
Oh, that's a big one. I think he's just lost his head a little bit here trying to push flat out, and the car snapped on him, just went over the crest and it went sideways, and with only one tire on the rear, you're not going to get much grip, and as soon as you go sideways, the differentials are just all out of whack, doing weird stuff, and sometimes it'll just put all of the power to the rear, and then you just start spinning around, go into the deep snow as he did, and roll, and this is going to be painful for him. That's for sure.
Yeah, luckily it's not a long stage next time out. I think it is. Let's
10 kilometers.
just
It's
a 10 kilometers, fine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's no problem. It's not as if it's only a sprint, so it's got a load of junctions or stuff like that. Oh God, Kamikaze. I really feel bad for Kamikaze, to be honest, because I know the pain of driving with 2 punctures, as I did in Chile last season. Just having to do an entire stage with the car that would refuse to turn. I think it was left or yeah. But anyway, it refused to turn in any direction. To be fair.
The car was not for turning. Ancephalosis, when is he going to go? He is going to go now, so let's not go over to him. Just looking at who we could actually grab at the most moment in time. I think Blenbar's going to be setting off in a few minutes' time, so I think we'll have a quick chat with Blenbar. We'll get some Blenbar commentary up. Well, not commentary, an interview up, and we'll also have a little bit of the action on the right hand side. So Blenbar, how are you doing out there? How are you finding it being I've already called you champion, by the way, today. We've got that out of the way early. But how are you finding it out there in Sweden so far?
So far it's going good. I had one moment. And then obviously a few times where I clipped the banking, but that's normal here. But otherwise, yeah, for driving the Mitsubishi, I think it's going pretty good.
You were sort of being distanced a little bit by Kamikaze, but he has reportedly got a puncture in the long stage about
Double
halfway
puncture,
through. Double puncture. I was thinking the car was looking a bit weird.
He
So
said one is on the rim already and one is flat yet, but I think we got a 11k stage next, so
that's not going to last. No,
not good.
Yeah. So, do you think he'll make it to the end of stage 6, or what do you think? Do you think that's rally over for him?
I don't know what tires are punctured, but I imagine it's probably gonna be both on one side. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for him. He's obviously gonna lose, I would expect, a minute and a half for sure. But he does have the pace to fight back, and obviously also me and the others also can still make mistakes, so it's not over yet. I think we learned that from the final last season in Kenya. It's not over till it's over, so yeah, obviously next stage is not gonna be fun, but I still have faith in him that he can do it.
Yeah, to be fair, going back to one of the things that you were saying, and I also do have faith that Kamikaze can make a recovery drive, if nothing else, and go 110%. There's a lot of drivers today keeping you honest, to be fair, at the top of the pecking order. You've got Ryan in that Seat Cordoba that's going very fast at the moment, scarcely 20 seconds behind you after, I think that's 5 stages. So, yeah, it's... Do you think you can have the pace in the Mitsubishi to keep this one?
It's hard to say. I would say probably I have a bit more pace, but I also have to keep it clean, which so far has gone pretty good, I'd say. So yeah, I think obviously now with Kamikaze's mistake, the chances of getting a win are looking good at the moment. But yeah, we'll have to see. Like I said, still have to finish. So everything can still happen.
Well, Flembart, you're a couple of minutes away from running through the new Ubio stage, so we'll let you head back to it.
Thank you. Enjoy it.
Yeah, so he's clear favourite now, at least for the broadcast, to go and get some good points here now. Kamikaze has titularly destroyed himself in his own way. He doesn't necessarily show that in his emotion here. He's very neutral, and maybe feeling a little bit sorry for how Kamikaze's day is going.
Yeah, I mean, Vlembar's a driver that will just drive his own race and not really look too much about what the others are doing. And, I think he wants just everybody to do their best. He wants to win, but on his own terms, on everybody trying their hardest and him just being the fastest on the day. I don't think any driver really wants to win because somebody got a puncture or because somebody crashed out. It happens, it's part of rally, so you have to accept it both on the winning side and on the losing side. But yeah, the good news is for Kamikaze is that if it's a puncture of 2 tires on the same side, he will be able to get it back to service. If it's a puncture on the same axle, though, it will be game over if the tires come off of the rim. So pretty ominous. I hope he can get through the stages. But yeah, if what Vlembar said is accurate, then Kamikaze is safe, although he will be losing quite a bit of time. And Ancephalosis just coming up to the junctions here, they're so difficult. And as you can see, so tricky to keep the revs up. Sometimes these cars can stall with a little bit of turbo lag if you drop the revs a little bit too low. So you've got to really take into account and pay attention to how you're driving the cars. And it's so easy to overdrive the car on snow.
Yeah, Ancephalos is picking the Impreza here, a car I think actually he owns in real life, or at least he's a Super Impreza owner. Not sure if it was this exact year number, but yeah, coming to this technical section, no door on already, so you're not going to whack that off. That's a plus. That's a plus, right? Aerodynamic-wise, obviously some in the modern classes, that is really going to hurt you and hold you back. Is that the same when you go back to the 9711 class?
Well, if you've ever rolled your window down on a motorway, you'll know that there's a huge amount of air that gets disturbed by that. So it will be hampering your aerodynamics no matter what, because it counts as aerodynamic damage. So you'll either have less turn-in or just less top speed. But it shouldn't be too bad. The main worry, if you've had a crash that's knocked off of your door or any aerodynamic component, is the damage that you don't see, like suspension damage, engine damage, and that can be very tricky. That car understeering quite a bit for Ancephalosis, but he gets across the line safely, a 5:57, which I'll now look up on the leaderboard. So not too bad, but I think just outside the top 40. Yeah, just outside the top 40. Actually, there's a lot of people that are within the space of 10 seconds, would you believe? So that was top 100.
What did you say?
I was just going to try and show it. Yeah, it's 101, I believe he got in. So 101 Dalmatians. That would work well for Ryan's car, because that is very black and white at the moment. Not spotty, though. So JPH just getting onto one of those snowbanks, disturbing himself. Ryan heading underneath the tunnel, really iconic for this stage. And this is of course one of the new DLC stages. Really cool. It's in the north of Sweden. I'm correct in saying that. They had to move there because there isn't much snow in the south now.
Yeah, so they had to move there because well, they still get snow in Sweden, but there's a minimum depth required really for it to be a proper snow rally, and there's been multiple rallies in I think it was 2020 and possibly 2022 where basically there was just no snow at all on the stages, hardly, and so it was more like a gravel rally. So the tires aren't adapted to it. They had huge problems with tire wear, the setups aren't adapted, so they had to bring different components, and it just makes it more difficult for the rally organisers. And a lot of people want to see a classic snow rally. You know, it's been a fixture on the calendar since the WRC began. So it's one of those things where, especially with Monte Carlo having less and less snow as well, you at least want a bit of deep snow, and so they moved it north so that they could guarantee the weather conditions. Although I dare say that the old stages get snow most of the time, but you have to guarantee it for a WRC event that has to be planned 6 months in advance.
Yeah, of course, with the global logistics, getting the tyres out there, you can't just be like, actually, we'll bring a different set of tyres, a different compound. You need snow tyres thinner than the standard gravel tyres you'd have. So yeah, it's completely different, and I presume those studs would just be ripped off almost immediately in the dry condition, in non-snow conditions, let's say.
Yeah, so the tungsten studs, even on conditions like this, they can be easily damaged, because under that ice surface you can see the gravel, the sort of like muddy gravel surface underneath, and these studs will dig into that and churn it up. So after about car 10, you're basically driving a half ice, half gravel rally anyway, and you can have one of two things happen. If you drive quite cautiously, you can just wear down the studs and it becomes more of a gravel tire then, or worse, you can overheat the tire because it's no longer running on snow, it's running on gravel, and so it's sliding a lot more, and then you can literally rip the studs out of the tire. The rubber just cracks and breaks, and then the stud just comes clean out, basically. And in that stage, you've not only removed the studs, but you've also just damaged the tire beyond repair in certain circumstances. You've had multiple times in Monte Carlo, actually, where the conditions, for example, have been less icy than predicted, so drivers have been weaving on the motorway, which is not entirely safe, but there you go. They didn't do anything about it, so I guess it's legal. I'll leave them answer that more than me. But just weaving and removing the studs from the tire, basically. And so it can be a tactical thing, but on a snow rally like this, you want to keep as many studs in the tire as possible. And in conditions like this, it should be fine. There shouldn't be a loss of studs.
Yeah, if it ain't right, do it at night. That's my advice for doing stuff illegal on the roads. No, don't do stuff illegal on the roads. Don't put snow tires on your car with studs in. Full stop. That's
well, they're banned for a start, so don't do that anyway.
But yes, Ryan coming to end there. That's looking to be just behind Becky B. Becky B is someone he keeps a close rivalry on. Actually made him switch to a few of the more sweatier cars last season to make sure he could keep up with the Americans. So Becky B looking to be in just ahead of him there, I believe. Hide his camera. No, I've hidden the wrong camera. Over here, acting like a pro here. There we are. That's indeed, 14th position that he's in. But I believe they're actually on a break now between sessions.
I think they've got service area now. Yes,
I saw. Area. Yes, JPH.
I saw JPH looking at the stages and all of that, and he's in the service area, as you can see.
There we are.
Ah, yes. JPH, hope you can hear us. Hope you can. But how's the stages going in that 206?
They're not bad. Not bad. I mean, I made the costly error of accidentally clicking start stage as a shakedown earlier, so like the first sort of 3/4 of a sector I lost a ton of time, but it makes it more challenging, a bit more fun trying to get back to the pack. So yeah, fog was not nice, but yeah, the car is driving nicely.
Do you think you've got any pace disadvantage compared to the others? Why did you take the 206, if I ask?
For the sheer fun of it is the answer. As everyone pretty much knows, I'm missing the entirety of next round, so I've kind of decided this season is going to be pick some random sort of cars that don't get used that much, see if we can sort of get a setup on them. Me and Snav sort of worked on the setup a little bit to sort of calm this thing down a little bit, but it is a little bit lacking in a straight line. But it's drivable, which is fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of this car. Any flips, any rolls out there from yourself today? Because it's It's a little bit violent at times through the corners, isn't it? Let's just say that.
Not necessarily violent, just it's even though we've got a setup, it's sometimes still slightly hard to trust it's going to stick through the corner. But yeah, we just had the one roll, I think, and yeah, it's just unfortunately it was just a slight run wide that just got caught in the snow a bit more than the car was able to take. But no, I can't really fault the car. The car's driving really nicely, as I say. It's the only thing that I'm losing out on is the top end, but I think I'd rather lose out on the top end and have something that drives nicely and accelerates at the corners for Sweden. It's not a fast event for me in reality.
Well, we'll let you get back at it. I'm sure your next fun time is now, according to the sheet. So we'll let you fly out there, and good luck with the rest of the rally.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys.
We'll leave it on this page, yeah, well, just because he's about to start his rally, we'll see how he starts the next stage, which I believe is Sam Bakker. And yeah, just he doesn't like it as much as he didn't dislike it as much as I do. This car.
When he said it was predictable, I don't know where he got that from. We must be driving a different version. I'm obviously driving the 99 version. He's driving the 203 version.
I'm glad that's not just me, because this car, I think I did about half a stage on it on Chile. Like, yeah, maybe I'll try on Chile, but no. I'll be off that cliff if I bring this car. Like, it just wants to do the opposite of what you're hoping it does mid corner.
I think all of the drivers would be saying to us at this point that that sounds like a very big skill issue for both of us. So I think we both need to work on our driving there, because obviously JPH knows something that we don't.
There's a reason we're in this com box, right?
Yeah, entirely, yes. But it's a different car to drive because it's a very short wheelbase. There's a sort of between that, let's say, 2001 or for 99 for the 206, but that 99 to 2005 era of cars that were progressively getting shorter, and the only two manufacturers to go longer were actually Subaru and Citroen. We won't talk about the 307 for Peugeot. That car doesn't exist, especially not its gearbox. But it's basically they wanted to go shorter and push the regulations to get more turn in a compact car to suit what they were selling. You know, the WRC class was production car based still a little bit, so they had the 206. They thought, beautiful compact car, a bit like the Fabia later on. Compact car, lovely stuff. But they found out also it had its limitations in being slightly unpredictable in the fast paced stuff, just because it doesn't have that length to stabilize the car. A bit like the Formula 1 teams nowadays, basically going for longer and longer cars to a degree to get that downforce underneath. It still does apply to a rally car to a certain extent, but also that stability through the long corners.
Yep, so JPH now on to stage 7, which is Sam Bakker. So it's, I believe, just the reverse of the stage that we've just had.
I think so. Yeah.
If I'm correct on that. Certainly the first half of it is the last half of the previous one in reverse. But yeah, just jumping out of that tricky section and coming to a series of, you know, one left, square rights, all that stuff. It's really hard to keep the momentum up through this section of rally, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of these junctions are quite, I don't want to call them easy, but are quite flowing in the opposite direction. However, in this direction, it's very, very tight and twisty. And as you can see there, sometimes the snowbanks are in the wrong places and they just jut out a little bit and you clip the rear tire and all of a sudden a corner that you've got great rotation for, you're just understeering into the snowbank. And you know, with the snow being pushed aside by, I presume, just a snowplow, or, you know, some fans with shovels in some places, I guess. But it means that the sides of the roads are anything but smooth, and you don't have that nice sort of like uniform snowbank to lean on. So you have one of two things happen on these stages. Either you drive up the snowbanks and sort of get away with it, or you crash into them and get some damage or puncture. So you can take the risk, but it's not always worth the gamble. And as we saw just then with JPH, sometimes there's a bit of a gust of wind and a bit of a snowdrift from the snowbanks that just hides your visibility completely and just makes you second guess what you're doing, can lead to a crash, for example.
Yeah, so JPH out there, Vlembar out there, very similar sections. Now, I wouldn't, not to be kind, but I think they're actually in exactly the same section here, so you can get a comparison between the two. I would say Vlembar is a little bit more alien-like than JPH. JPH would put me to bed in about 3 seconds on any rally, but yeah, Vlembar maybe just having the edge on his day, and I think a little bit ahead today indeed, and just getting already a little bit of an edge on JPH in this side-to-side comparison as JPH just touches those snowbanks, and maybe that just clips a little bit of speed off him.
I will say that the 206 is really bad in that initial acceleration, for example at the start line or out of a junction, and I think you could see it there. Although JPH was committing to the corners, the car was just not going out of the turn, and so the Lancer Evo has a great sort of power band of the car. You can run it at low revs or high revs, it doesn't really mind, and even in real life drivers had different strategies for how many revs they'd use and how they drive the car, and so the 206 is kind of a low revving car that you need to keep in the power band, otherwise it just loses all power, and it's much happier in terms of power on the high speed section. It's just then the sort of instability of the car gets the better of it. So I think we're seeing the case of just Vlembar having more confidence in the car, as he's gained about 10 car lengths since the start of the stage, and you can see that reflected in the time difference. They're about, I'd say, 7 seconds apart right now in terms of time, so we'll be able to see that on the split, but it just every single acceleration zone, Vlembar is gaining that half a car length that you need to get a fast stage time, but crashing into the snowbank like that for JPH won't help him either.
No, absolutely not. 3 sectors to go. Actually, pretty neck and neck still, right? Pretty neck and neck. Of course, you look at the time on the right-hand side, I think Vlembar is just slightly ahead of time. He's gained time in the earlier stages, but they're still in a very comparable section of the track. And yeah, just very interesting with two very different cars, right? The Little Pizza, as I'll call it, has a much shorter wheelbase than the Lancer. I'm not wrong in saying that, and the characteristic, as you said, a little bit slow out of corners. So it's interesting over the course of a longer stage such as this one, the kind of differences of where they're better and where other cars are different. Vlembar actually choosing to go in this one quite late as well. He was going to be in the Skoda, as he just takes in quite a bit of energy into the corner, but a lot more controlled than JPH there, which is unusual to say.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the Evo being a longer car base, you can carry more speed into the corners and commit to them. The problem is, as he found out earlier, I think it was on stage 3, if you do end up tapping the snowbank, one, you have much more likelihood of hitting the snowbank because the car's long, but also the consequences of it can be a lot more drastic. There's less opportunity to recover the car because it's a lot less nimble. So the difference at the moment, I thought, in this stage was about 8 seconds, just looking, trying to find a landmark that I could use for a time basis. So this is quite a considerable time gain for Vlembar, as he's going to cross the line with a 38.1, so that's the benchmark, and a 45.1. So that is, well, 7 seconds, near enough exactly. So yeah, JPH gaining a second back there at the end.
Yeah, of course. While we tell them to set up at the same time, it's never quite the same time. So even if they are on the same part of the track, it's not because they've set up at the same time. But yes, they are in the same bracket. But Vlembar, I mean, a top 9th position, but look at that. Ryan's ahead of him on that one. So that was a superb run from Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan really fast at these stages. He, for some reason, seems to excel at the sort of junction stop-start stages, as I call them. He seems to have a little bit more struggles with the fast and flowing. Maybe it's just the Cordoba. It isn't renowned to, well, let's put it politely, have the aerodynamics of a brick. That's the best way I could describe it. And so in the faster paced stuff, it maybe is a little bit lacking. in terms of grip, but it has the power. It has 15 extra brake horsepower, so every time you're accelerating out of a junction, if you can get the power down, you'll be gaining time. So that's probably the reason why with so many junctions, but he's paying the price for it on other stages, and for the moment Vlembar's car choice is looking like the decent one. A good car choice, I'd say, as well, from Aerotech, the Zara. Very, very good grip levels, and quite a decent engine in it. Not the fastest, but you've got to go for what you're most comfortable with in a rally like this. Any fast rally, you have to be at one with the car. There's no use having 600 brake horsepower if you're just going to plow into the first tree.
Absolutely. Aero and Punju out there on to stage 8 now, and Aero in his signature Zara. He didn't pick it the last time we did the 9711 class. Again, that was in Rally Chile. He did pick a C4. He treated himself to the luxury of being able to race a C4, as he's usually normally in the Zara, which is of course slower in the class. But yeah, it is his car effectively, and having an affinity with one car, Isa. Is there any car you can kind of pinpoint that? Yeah, I'll always pick that car, even if it's not necessary. Oh, he's just clipped the inside of that bank, and that's pitched him into a bit of a stall there. But is there any car where you go, yes, it's slower, but I know that car way better, and I'll just always perform better in it because of that?
Well, I mean, I kind of take cars just because they're fun. For example, the Cordoba. It's not fast. It's definitely not the fastest car, even in a straight line. But it's so fun to just drift around the corners. You have absolutely no grip, but it's a different style of driving, old school, and I do like old school styles of driving. It's a recurring joke for many years also to be taking the Renault 5 Turbo at any opportunity that I can. So that's my go-to car on the H3 rear-wheel drive class. So that's just a bit of an inside joke between a few friends and myself, where it's basically undrivable in every single rally game. So if you can take that car and do vaguely well with it, you're basically winning anyway.
And so is the Renault 5 your car, which is if everyone is in the Renault 5, do you think, yeah, I'd have actually maybe the legs on some of the people, because I'm used to how bad this is compared to others?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I've driven that car way too much for it to get the better of me at this stage.
Beautiful. Well, Aerotech coming towards the final 2 sectors of stage 8 here, into a hairpin left, now into a slightly faster one right. But yeah, I mean, the Zara being long on that drift scene, I think that maybe is better for Aero. Of course, the Zara's kind of better races are on tarmac, right? I'm saying that because Loeb was a tarmac specialist, and also the Zara before this was the kit car Zara.
The Zara was pretty good in the hands of everybody who drove it. Duval winning in Australia, gravel rally, but Loeb could win on any surface with this car. It was, I think he named it as his favourite car of all time. So, it comes down to the driver a lot, because it has a lot of grip, but not so much power. So if you can use that grip, paradoxically for Aerotech, it doesn't like drifting too much. So you've got to be more smooth with it, actually, and you've got to drive it through the corners more than sliding it. And so as you can see, he's not taking as much angle as you would in, for example, drifting. Whereas with the Cordoba, you want to be going like 45 degrees sideways. But this, you've got to keep it clean, use the differentials that are really, really effective at getting grip, and just power it around the corner. But that's a very difficult driving style to adapt to as a rally driver, because even the modern cars with that increase in power, they like power sliding. And so it was a different era of WRC where smoother was faster.
Yeah, well, actually, let's grab Punju in for a little conversation. Out there on the big rig, let's just say that. Do you know how you can tell your rig is very different, Punju? I feel like we have like a CCTV camera now. Like your camera is obviously on your monitor and is or above it. It's so far up. It feels like we're getting bird's eye view.
I can't get anywhere close to reaching it. It's hilarious so far.
How are you finding?
I would show you how. It's really great. It's honestly super fun on WRC. It's running a lot better than I expected it to be, and the scariness of Rally has just been upped a couple of notches because you see so much more, and it feels like it's going so much faster. It's awesome. It's tons of fun.
We've seen you have a few trips up the snowbanks and close to a few trees. You thought
What are
that
you
I'm not
talking
mentioning
about?
that. Yeah, we didn't see anything. But
Yeah.
if there were to be a few collisions, what might be the cause of it?
I actually, before I talk about the cause, I gotta mention my funniest one. I don't know if you caught it. It was kind of early on. I went really wide and ended up kind of in a little bit of trees. I didn't hit any of the trees, but I just got stuck in between 6 trees that were all kind of boxing me in, and I had to forward back like I'm Austin Powers. It was very funny.
We did catch that moment.
Oh, great, cool. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Honestly, I'm getting a lot of the calls a little bit late. I think maybe I need to change my call out timing and get a little bit earlier, but I'm finding it hard to keep up with all the calls today. I don't know why. It's a tough rally, man. Sweden's always tough, right? If you're not ready to go for what's about to happen, you get on those brakes, they're going to do nothing because it's all the ice, right? So, yeah, that stuff caught me out a couple times.
It's all the extra information that your brain has to process with the triple screens. You've got peripheral vision and everything. Pace notes don't register anymore.
That's what it is, yes. Thank you for the copium. I appreciate it.
You could have said your line, Isaac. Brakes only slow you down. You don't need them. It's fine.
I'm getting slower. It's the age. It's the age at this point.
This old fart. Gosh.
Well,
yeah, no, it's been a great rally. For sure, very fun.
That's fantastic to hear. Well, we'll let you enjoy those screens a little bit more, and I'm sure you'll be on to your next stage very soon.
Yes, me and Encephalosis are 5 seconds away from each other now, so we have a fight to the end, and I'm excited for it.
Right, well, that is one to keep an eye on for the broadcast. So, thank you very much. Enjoy those fights.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
just about to mention that. I had the leaderboard up, just about to mention that, but there you go. He mentioned it before me. It's they're always having a battle. If they keep it clean and sort of semi-consistent, they're always around the pace of each other. Same as Aerotech, really. They're always in that fight.
Yeah, Aerotech. I feel like he's at the start of the Creator Series. There was a little bit of closeness between Punju and Aerotech, but as Aerotech has just got more and more familiar with the platform, he's kind of crept ahead, whereas Punju, maybe, I'm not going to say he's stagnated, but he's maybe not made the same progress Aerotech has.
I'm not commenting on that. I fear them both. But well, in talking about that, actually, there's only 30 seconds between 4 drivers at the moment. You have Aerotech leading the quartet in 55th place, 2 minutes 34 off the leader. JPH is 2 minute 40 off the leader, and then Encephalosis is 3 minute 9 off the leader. So it's very, very close. And so one mistake, one puncture could lead to a swap in the drivers, and that's quite a few points. But yeah, literally 2 seconds separating Encephalosis and Punju at the moment. So that is one to look out for. I'm also looking for Kamikaze, but I can't see him on the overall standings at the moment. Oh, cancel that. 115th place.
so
3 minutes 45. I'll say the drivers are not safe right now. They're less than a minute ahead for some of them, so Kamikaze could be gaining a lot of places right now.
Yeah, he'll be driving angry, and that's peak Kamikaze as well. So as soon as the drivers get back onto the stages, we'll be watching that for sure. I think Encephalosis about to load up stage 9, which I'm gonna have a go. Napa Jamat. They're all a little bit shorter coming up now. So yes, okay, we're on stage 8 of 13, but we've just had, I think, 3 or 4 really long stages back to back there. So that's the main chunk of driving done.
Yeah, indeed. And Ersmark, if this is stage 8, indeed, it's one of the ones that is quite flowing and fast. So you've really got to keep it quite consistent on this one. There's a lot of snow on the side that you can see. There's no snowbanks, but if you go more than half a car's width into that fresh snow or the dumping of snow there, it will just drag your car in like we saw with Kamikaze very early on. So you've got to keep to that track that you can see in the middle of the road and not deviate from it. If you do, you're running the risk of running into so many problems it's almost not worth it. So there's also the case that if you do run like to the anti-cut markers, your car slows enough that it's not worth it. You actually want to carry the speed around the outside. It slows you maybe 20 or 30 kilometers per hour. So there's a little bit of art to how much you should actually cut, and sometimes it's not worth going right next to the anti-cut poles because they're in too deep a snow.
Yeah, I spoke too soon about the length of these stages. This stage here, Napachabat's 10.5 kilometers. Then we've got 11 kilometers, and then 10 kilometers, and then we have a couple of shorter stages, a 5 kilometer and 8 kilometers. So we still have a little bit of length left in these stages. So a lot more time out there to make mistakes.
Yeah, what I don't understand is I already see a time on the board for Vlembar in stage 8, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But maybe Vlembar has already finished.
This is stage 9.
This is stage 9. Yes, I thought there was something wrong there. I'm not. I could have sworn one of us said stage 8, and I was like,
I probably said stage 8. Yeah,
something's a bit weird. It might have been me also. I'm not quite sure.
If in doubt, blame
the maths weren't mathing up. So yeah, there we go. Stage 9. That makes a lot more sense. And yeah, you can see from both perspectives here is basically Ancephalosys and Punju are on near enough the same corner. Ancephalosys about to brake for the junction, which you just saw Punju go through. So they're going to be just driving the different perspectives you can see, because Ancephalosys I think only has one screen, so you can see the difference in perspective where the vision, as Punju was saying, is so fast on the side monitors that it gives you that sense of, I don't want to call it fear, because as a rally driver you have to just throw that out of your mind, but it gives you a sense of how fast the car is going, so it alters your driving style a bit. Whereas if you've got that centered sort of focused view just on the front with a single screen, it can give you more confidence to push faster. But paradoxically, when you get it wrong, as I say that, Punju gets it wrong first, so I said nothing, I guess. Yeah, if you get it wrong, you normally go off way further because you're not ready for it, you're not expecting it.
Yeah, it's pay to win, but unfortunately Punju's the one who's paid, so not as big as gains as other people. I love you really, Punju. I'm saying that now after I've interviewed him for the day, and the fact that he's going to have to run away straight after the broadcast, so I won't be getting him a preview from him until at least a couple of days' time when he watches this back. So yeah, Punju out there using that setup to the maximum, and that's a good,
wow, that
was a good recovery, wasn't it? That was a good recovery.
Yeah, I think way too wide, tried to carry too much speed, and he just went off into the trees. And that's the good thing, I guess, about deep snow, is it does slow you down. Usually you're cursing it as soon as you go into it because it's ruins your run on the stage. But if you get it wrong, what you want to do is just get the car straightened out so you don't have a chance of rolling the car over, and just apply the brakes, and hopefully it will come to a stop. And thankfully, unlike in real life, you don't get bogged down in the snow. But however, if you do hit some trees and branches, it will spin your car around, and that's what you got to be careful of. So we say this is one of the most open rallies of the calendar, where you can take a little bit on the entry and exit, but there's still stuff to avoid. For example, that big pile of logs on the inside, which on some corners can be on the outside and a little bit more intimidating.
Yeah, well, I mean, we spoke about it just before the stage. 5 seconds splitting Punju and Ancephalosys, and they'll know that. They'll be talking in the background, won't they? So Ancephalosys feels like he's holding his breath through some of these corners.
Yeah, at the moment, Ancephalosys, I think, is set to gain time on Punju, because he started the stage later, or from our perspective, he was about 2 corners behind, and now they're basically at the same level. They're almost at the same tree line here, so I guess the gap is about 4 seconds in Ancephalosys' favour, although I thought Punju was going off then. I stuttered my words because, my days he was so far to the right that he could have got dragged into that deep snow. It's so easy when you're going on 125 miles per hour, as you can see, for Encephalosis, about 200 kilometers per hour. And Encephalosis off the roads there, he's just gone too wide, tried to carry the speed, and all of that speed, he has now lost it, and so it's Punju that's going to cross the line first, and so these times are going to be oh so close. I'm going to have to look at the leaderboard for those, but that good work from Encephalosis just being negated in that last corner.
Yep, the downside of seeing these amazing screens, hard to say it, but Punju's certainly happy with that time. Encephalosis maybe less so, so 44th Punju on that stage, but 57, I think, has he done better there? Encephalosis, is that? Am I just reading those numbers wrong? Have you got confirmation from the race net at all, Isa?
We are checking.
I think Encephalosis has done better overall. Though. I think he's got about 20 places on Punju, despite Punju being pumped.
Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, I must have missed his name. Yeah, I did miss his name. Yeah, can confirm that he has done better than Punju. So he must have started a lot later, and he'd already caught up time by the time we were on board with them both. As you can see, we got Kamikaze and Ryan side by side now. So sort of in the same sector, but Ryan a few corners behind. Looking at the times though, look at that difference. Kamikaze is about 5 corners ahead, I'd say, or 2 long corners, as you can see here. But the times are basically the same, so he's got at least, I'd say, 5 seconds in this stage already. However, the Fabian not as fast as the Cordoba in a straight line, so I think Ryan may be able to get a little bit more pace out of this final 2 sectors that are basically a straight line flat out with 2 almost flat out corners. Unlike, well, the last corner flat out, if you can take it flat out, put it that way, it's quite a risk. But yeah, as we go on board with Kamikaze here, you go up past the finish board. It's flat out, 202 kilometers per hour there, being the maximum. Quite a low top speed there, yeah, 204. I'd guess for a top speed that you want to be aiming for is about 205, 206 kilometers per hour. Nibbling the inside. I think he's gone way too much to the inside there a little bit, losing quite a bit of time, but not spinning the car or anything across the line. That's going to be a 2-minute 53 approximately, 52.7, and so Ryan's just going to be a little bit behind here. It's going to be a 56 point something, or 56.9, so that's quite a few seconds dropped, about 4 seconds dropped. Which is, you know, not optimal because Ryan is being chased down at this point, like everybody else.
Yes, indeed. Interesting that Cordoba better top line speed generally, but I think Kamikaze had tuned the top end to be a little bit faster. 202 kph we were getting in Fabio, I believe. Both running kph. The Cordoba only getting 199 flat out through that back stretch, let's just say. So interesting that Kamikaze has been able to tune a little bit more out of those gears. So obviously working on the setup there, or just having something in hand with that Fabio because he really didn't have much notice to do it. So interesting. So he's been able to climb a little bit further up. So 249th he is at the moment at the end of that stage. Overall, that is.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ryan did say that he had tuned the speed of the car to be more conservative, so I think he's tuned the car toward the new stages where there's only one big straight line. Oh, that's a big mistake by Punju. He's dodged it. No, he hasn't dodged the trees. He has crashed into a very, very solid tree there at the end. I think he's gone away with it mostly as he managed to get the car slowed down quite considerably before doing that, but again, it's that section. Encephalosis, the same section, I think. There's just a couple of jumps there. Yeah, it is exactly the same section. That is a more significant crash there, as you have to lift off before you hit the jump. There's 2 consecutive jumps, and especially in the old cars, the first compression completely compresses the suspension, and then you've got nothing left for the next jump, and then all you do is, if you take the wrong angle, you either bounce sideways and it's over, or you bounce straight off into the snow like Punju did and it's over as well. So it's risk versus reward. If you're doing time trial, maybe, and yeah, Encephalosis has a puncture here or something, I think, because that is he's revving that engine a lot. Maybe not, actually. No, I take it back. Looks like the steering's straight. And I forget, he's in miles per hour, so that speed is actually quite a decent top speed, but quite a lot of damage for these two.
Yep, quite a lot of damage for, I would say, maybe more visually for Ancephalosys after that crash. Of course, the door missing again. Who needed that? The bonnet really just on the limit of actually staying attached. I don't see the bonnet moving, a little bit maybe moving around for Punji, but he still has his doors as he looks about. I thought he was about to get rid of it for me there. I thought he was going to go sideways into a telegraph pole, but just about avoids that one. And both of them pushing. They know 5 seconds between them, so they, it's now or never. They could get the one up on each other. That's important to these creators. They talk behind the scenes. They want to be faster than each other. Of course, they want everyone to be faster. There's always a good spirit, sharing setups, helping with tips, improvements, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, they want their name higher up on the leaderboard than the others.
Yeah, and talking about that, on the last stage, there is an incredible grouping of times from our creators. You've got Vlembar P9 on that stage, just that stage, not overall, but P9 with 9 seconds off. As Punju, huge spin in mid-air. Was that a front flip?
That was a front flip. That was an almost perfect front flip. That was...
Looking at the leaderboard, and out of my peripheral vision, I see this car looking at the sky and then at the snow on the ground, and that was pretty spectacular. I think he'll be talking about that one for a few hours.
It was like watching something at the Winter Olympics. It was marvellous. The execution was almost perfect. You would not be able to repeat that again, even if you tried. So, even with the most dramatic crash, what did you getting the rubber to green here?
It's all down to... talking about somebody not having the rubber to the green at the moment. That is Ancephalosys off the road as well. I think in pretty much the same location. He's, taken considerable damage there because hitting a very solid object. He's going off into the trees again. That is the other door off now, so at least he's getting active cooling. And a reset penalty, 30-second reset penalty. That is disaster for, I presume, going too far off of the stage, and that is going to be devastating for their battle.
You saw him lean forward and curse it.
Some
really.
words were said.
Yeah, your words were said. We won't repeat them for you, but they weren't kind words, and he will be feeling that one for the rest of it. He's going to have to dig in, and this is where the concentration, the mindset, it all really pays off, being able to keep it calm and considered, because you start to think, well, I need to make that 30 seconds back, but actually you need to settle back into your rhythm and not overdrive the car, just do what it can do, especially with the damage it's now carrying. That's upsetting the drivability of the car as well, as you just see him a little bit jittery over the bumps there. And I think Ancephalosys just needs to try and reconfigure and settle again, because again, he's on his roof, and that is not the optimal way to drive a Subi.
Nope, he's just got another reset penalty for 5 seconds, so it's going from bad to worse at the moment. So it just happens sometimes, if you have a bad run, you start thinking about it, you start overcompensating for a few mistakes, and then all of a sudden the steering wheel's pointing the wrong direction, the car's pointing completely the opposite direction, and off the road you go as Ancephalosys is taking another trip through the snow. This is a rally where you have to have confidence, and as soon as you make that first mistake, normally it can go badly thereon after. The only person really that has managed to keep it clean after their first mistake is Vlembar for the moment, so credit to him. He's doing what he needs to maintain that first place provisionally, and that's why he's been so potent in this championship, is just the raw consistency.
Yeah, Punju going to be trying to show us something here. At the end, he got a very lazy corner cut, actually, which added 5 seconds of his time. Not the end of the world, but wasn't super happy with his stage time. 6:28 for what remains of that Subaru. 254th. That's very dramatic. It was only just over the hundreds for Punju, as Punju's wanting to go. I think we'll maybe just stay with Punju, because I think he's going to show us the dramatic gymnastics that he did there.
He hit a rock.
Not good for the radiator, but...
Newsflash, hitting a rock is not good for the radiator, everyone. I would have never guessed that.
It is good for the broadcast, right?
Very,
It's
very
the flip
impressive.
side, right? Okay, come on, Punju. Show us
The
show us
flip
the magic.
side. Nice pun. Nice pun.
Not intended at all, if I'm honest. I'm not a good enough commentator for that.
He's just that good. He's built different, everyone.
Now Punju is just gonna tease us. We saw it. That's it. Is that all he's gonna show? Okay, we'll go away from
Think
Punju.
so.
I'll keep an eye out. If he switches back, if he shows us that, then I will switch straight back to it. But Ryan and Kamikaze are out there on this stage, and I think actually we could probably pull Ancephalosys in for an interview if we fancy doing it now. It feels like a cool time to do it, but it does seem to be available.
We can do that.
Here we are. We'll pull him in. Ancephalosys, I'll sort your camera out. That's my fault. Not the most brilliant rally to have when you before those sets of rallies, just a few seconds apart away from Punju. Yeah, he may just genuinely not be there. Oh no, is he? Andy is there. Hello, Andy.
Sorry, I think I missed the first little bit.
Oh, it's just my nonsense.
Yeah,
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. It's going maybe okay. I should modify that too. We've had some moments of really brilliant driving. I've had 2 or 3 stages that felt nearly perfect, but one of those stages was the Longy Bongy, and it was only perfect for like the first 60%. And then I did like a full Beyblade 15 barrel roll type thing, and I feel like that really affected my mental. So we've had, unfortunately, 2 or 3 stages like that where we've had a few rolls. It's easy to do with the deep snow, especially in a car like the 01 Subi, some of these older cars that maybe don't handle as well. And I'm not the best suspension and damping type tuner, so that might be part of it too. So yeah, we've had some rolls from the deep snow that have kind of made this a lot harder than it has to be. But we're also driving pretty fast, so a little bit of a mixed bag today.
So you're taking the Colin McCrash approach. You got to be the fastest, but it's not always gone your way. I must admit, we did see a reset penalty there just for driving too far off the stage, I guess, and we were devastated for you because in that last stage there, because sometimes it can be a little bit severe. You looked only a few car lengths off the stage.
Yeah, so I definitely gave chat an earful on that one. It's a game at the end of the day, but even I'm sure in real life rally, penalties can't be perfectly appropriate. Sometimes you go off the track a little bit and you get fortunate. I have to say, there's definitely been times in the Creator Series where I yeeted off a cliff in like, let's say Oceania, but only got a 7-second penalty. So I guess this is the other side of that. I was really just kind of, maybe 50 meters off the road into the woods, and they gave me a 30-second penalty, which felt just obscenely heavy-handed. But again, it's a game at the end of the day. There's some inconsistencies, and penalties can't always be, air quotes, fair. So I probably shouldn't have gone for a drive in the woods, is the punchline I'm taking from that. But man, it was hard not to be upset by that.
We were watching for that, actually. And Punju would make mistakes in very similar areas and just get away from it. Either not scot-free. There was one time where he did a full front flip, but he would get away with it fairly nicely and cleanly, and you'd end up upside down, sliding down the same road really slowly, waiting for the point where you could do the reset. Like it did seem like the duality of luck that was being served up, and it was not in your favor.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's the thing. Sometimes it's in your favor, sometimes it's not your favor. The rally gods giveth and the rally gods taketh. Sometimes your barrel roll is totally PogChamp and you land on your tires and everybody loves it and you have a good time. And sometimes your barrel roll ends windscreen first into a tree. I think that's actually happened to me twice today, that we rolled and went windscreen first into a tree. So yeah, the rally giveth and the rally taketh. It sounds like Punju's getting a little luckier today, but there's still time. There's still time.
Well, hopefully that means you'll get a little bit more lucky toward the end of the season. So there's pluses to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll let you get back to it anyway, because I think you're ready to hit the next stage. But thank you for dropping in, and good luck staying out of the forest this time.
All right, thank you very much. Sounds good.
Always good to hear from Andy, as we do have some of the drivers out there already. I believe Unju is one of them. Yeah, he's out there, and
3
looking to
stages
find
to
his
go.
luck.
Yeah, 3 stages to go, and as you can see, the light is blinding. There's a line in the Batman movie, if I remember correctly, something about that. But yeah, definitely Punju pushing, I think, just to try and cement his status, although that was really sideways there. You could see him panicking, just thinking about where his hand placement should be on the wheel. Is he going to roll? Does he need to do the full 540 degrees, or can he recover it? And I think he chose halfway through the corner that it was going to be okay, but you could see the bit of hesitation there, and when the driver's doing that, you know they're close to the limit.
Absolutely. We also have a couple more drivers, Kamikaze and JPH, also out there. Kamikaze just starting this stage here. 3 stages to go. It's Erzboda is my hopefully okay pronunciation of the Swedish language. Yes, this is again a little longer, and then we come to some shorter stages for the final two. I believe 5 kilometers and then 8 kilometers for the power stage. So Erzboda, there we are, 10 kilometers it is. On the dot. So Kamikaze on his redemption path after having that double puncture earlier on into the valley, and yeah, this is what it looks like when Kamikaze has all 4 tyres on the rig. Ignore that little tap with the wall. That you can kind of use the snowbanks a bit, can't you, to carry speed, right? I once heard Gronholm say that in an interview, at least.
You certainly can, yes. I'd say you can more in real life than you can in the WRC games. There's more of a chance that you hit something solid in the game and get a puncture. Whereas in real life, as long as you're... Well, let's take the quote from, I think it's Gronholm, you've got to kiss the snowbank, but not hit the snowbank. If you hit the snowbank, it will either do damage to your car, or you will just embed yourself in the snowbank and just get stuck, as many drivers have in the past. But if you just give it a little kiss, a little touch, and that's just enough to just get the weight of the car transferred and not put any damage on the car whatsoever. Easier said than done. That's like one of the Scandinavian tricks that they have. As Kamikaze has rolled, I can see him just on his perspective, just as we cut to his camera. He's back underway, but he has rolled and had to take a reset penalty, shake of the head right there. I think that was on one of those snowbanks that we were talking about, so he's gone a little bit too much into that one.
Yep, JPH absolutely flying out there. I thought he was going to hit the roof of the tunnel with how fast he was going. Is that possible?
I have tried. I have not succeeded yet. I have tried with Group B cars for science, obviously, and I haven't seen it possible for the moment.
I think Kamikaze had another reset there. He was trying.
I think that was the split one.
I think
not quite sure.
I think he went straight into the. It was a left-hand turn, and he just carried on going forward and hit a recovery vehicle. So
yeah, it's possible.
That's not ideal from Kamikaze, I must say. Maybe just pushing a little bit hard, trying to reclaim some of that time. But Kamikaze is someone who he could have a few mistakes, but will generally at least recover from them. Yeah, some Resident Stoner in chat saying they have hit it with B. So that's worth knowing, everyone. You can hit them. Like, why would you ever want to, right? But also, can you?
Well, convertible Group B. It sounds like a great experience, to be fair. Not necessarily a safe one or approved by the FIA, but it's a racing game after all.
Yeah, indeed. I think Aerotech has just finished his stage 11 here, so that's 5:32 from Aerotech. He's got 2 stages left. A little bit further down the order for Punju, so 57th for Aerotech. I believe Punju's in 79th position there if I squint my eyes to the maximum, as JPH coming to the finish as well now at 5:31. That's 5:32, sorry, that's going to be a little bit quicker in comparison.
Yeah, lots of fast stage times here. I will say these stages do suit the faster cars. Really, you've got a lot of acceleration zones and not many corners where you can make the difference as a driver. So I think for the people in like the 206s, the Lancer Evos, they just need to hold out. And for people like Ryan, it's actually a good opportunity to gain time back. He's very, very fast at these stages, so he's just got to put pedal to the metal and just go for it and hope that he can gain back if he has lost any time. He was quite close, maybe not to Vlembar, but he was close to JPH and Henry Cookie, who has done his run prior to this as well, setting some very good times. So, there's still a lot to play for Ryan. There's still a podium on the cards here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll ride on board with him for a little bit of this stage. I think Vlembar, Kamikaze are in similar places as well. I think Kamikaze a little bit further up the road, but Vlembar certainly running at the same time as JPH. So let's actually go over to and keep an eye on Kamikaze as he comes over. So it was a 5:32, I believe, that JPH had. So Kamikaze, of course, we saw those mistakes again, Ryan. So close to the roof there. It's mesmerising, isn't it? You kind of want to be close though, right? You want to be quite close. In real life, would they take that risk? Maybe not.
I don't think the stage would be authorized for a start in that direction. Let's put it that way. A risk of decapitation is, I think, a few stages above what the FIA approves.
They have Halo, right? Don't they? Oh wait. That's,
Oh yeah. I mean, by default they have a roll cage, but I dare say it's probably not that strong. I'm not. I have my doubts, and I definitely wouldn't want to test it. Let's put it that way.
Why would you not want to test it? Maybe actually, we reach out to Hyundai or Ford or Toyota, and maybe there's a little bit of a YouTube video in that. Can you
I wrecked a €1 million rally car for this video.
We'd use an old one, don't we? We'll get that one back from Goodwood. I'm sure Hyundai would mind.
Even better for the marketing. I wrecked an old vintage rally car that people would like to own for this clickbait video. Yes, I'm sure that would go down well with the fans.
We'll do it something. The people don't like Ford Escorts, do they? We'll use that. We'll use that one.
Oh, he's gone into the Hornet's nest, everyone. I want to say I do not condone these comments.
I jest, of course. Yeah, I'm going to backtrack out of this one very slowly. But also, I'd quite like to see it happen, so who knows.
Literally doing the smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Exit stage left.
They're very close here, again, on track. I think Ryan may be even slightly ahead of Vlembar. I know times are just a little bit slower, but
time.
I think Ryan has cooked here.
Hang on a second.
On stage 11.
Hang on a minute. Let me have a look at the time. Okay, it's not going to be the fastest time. He's not in the fastest car, but it's going to be a 5:24. That will put him just in P25 according to my times. Yeah, just ahead of Vlembar, was it?
Yeah, by a second. So he did a 5:25, I believe. Yeah, so 1.2 seconds quicker than Vlembar.
Yeah, so it just proves that Cordoba has pace, and Ryan has a huge amount of pace in these sort of junction stages. So he's got that off to a T. And Ryan's sitting 18th overall after that stage. That's incredible. Let's have a bit of a recap here. Vlembar P7 overall, which is incredible in the Mitsubishi. And I'm just scrolling down. Yeah, Ryan is in second place overall in Creator Series at the moment, which is amazing. Third place, Henry Cookie, 30th overall. And then you've got a bit of a gap to Aerotech and JPH, who are separated by just under a second. That's not close at all with 2 stages to go.
There are some really close battles out there today. Everyone relishing this car rally combo that we have for the round 2 of the Creator Series. If you're watching for the first time, you want to get involved, you want to run these clubs, you can do. WRC in chat, it will give you a link to our Discord, to our RaceNet. We're also featured on the RaceNet website, so if you go onto RaceNet and go to WRC clubs, look in the partnered clubs, we are there, EA Creator Series, with a little VW Golf on the icon. You can race along and experience these combos. If you set 7 AM UK time every week on a Tuesday, so you've got just under 12 hours to compete a run in this round. But next week, well, only next week, I've completely forgotten this spiel, Isaac. You'll surely know.
Yes, Spain. We are in Spain for the WRC crossover round with Rally Canary Islands.
Of course, yes.
Which JPH is going to, actually, to spectate, which is why he won't be here next week.
Right, okay. So this is why he's picking more meme cars, because he feels like he won't be able to fight for the championship.
Indeed.
He
yes.
should take like a G29 in a suitcase or something and just do it from there, right?
And a computer, yeah, just a whole tower and sim rig. Yeah, just pass it through customs, nothing to see here. Also, on that note as well, if you're enjoying the show, click the follow button or the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, although I'm not sure if we're live streaming on YouTube tonight. But definitely on Twitch, the follow button appears in the bottom left-hand corner by the stream edge, and normally it's bright purple, so you can't miss it.
We should be on YouTube. I hope the stream issues early on didn't absolutely annihilate the YouTube stream. It could have happened. Again, skill issue on my part, so apologies for the rough and choppy season we had at the start of this broadcast. But we are coming into a clear landing for the final two stages as Ancephalosis and Punju come towards the final sectors of the final SS stage. I've forgotten what that stands for. Special sprint? What is it?
Special stage.
Special stage, there we are. I said SS and wanted to clarify what I meant.
Some people will get that joke, I guess.
But yeah, we do of course have the power stage coming up next, which is 5 points for the winner as well. So I can't remember who won the last power stage in round 1.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know, Gareth. No idea. Could it be somebody beginning with I? I'm not sure. I just want to note as well that Punju's got incredibly lucky, once again, as he was up on 2 wheels on the snowbank, and somehow it didn't roll once again. So, you know, what Ancephalosis was saying is maybe Punju's used up all his luck in one rally, in which case it's going to be quite a long season for him.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on Vlembar and Ryan as they're going through the final of the normal stages. Of course, it all applies to the rally. If you have a bad power stage, if you DNF of the power stage, you're also adding a heap of time to your overall rally result. And we do run the old FIA standard point system, so 25 points for a win. We don't split it up into special Sundays or anything like that. I don't know how we do that, to be honest. But that's the creator standings. Special Monday. Happy Mondays, maybe we could call it.
Monkey Monday.
But yeah, Vlembar and Ryan just coming towards the end of the stage. Vlembar's set off a little bit earlier here because his time is higher and he is further down the stage. So we'll get confidence of where their times are. But I don't think the only person who could hurt Vlembar from winning himself, at least on the broadcast tonight, is himself, right, Isa? Yeah.
Possibly so, yeah. I mean, until you've got to the end of the rally, anything can happen. You know, that's the nature of Sweden. You saw so many times how a mistake came out of nowhere, so you've just got to run your own pace. And for people like Vlembar, even I'd say for Ryan at this point, they've just got to drive their own pace and just hope that they don't make any mistakes. But for Vlembar, he's driven such a clean rally that, you know, Kamikaze's fallen by the wayside, and it looks like he's made some other mistakes because he hasn't caught up the pace that I expected him to. So yeah, he's done the job for the moment, that's for sure, and it looks like he's not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, 309 for Vlembar. Ryan shaking his head, willing his car forward. I think this could be good. I think this could be
very
under
good.
Vlembar's time again. Of course, I may be driving a little bit more conservative, but 2 seconds better there. Ryan will maybe be kicking himself for some of the early mistakes he's made in this rally, because he had he could, you know, with the pace he's showing for these later stages, have the pace to win. I'm sure Vlembar would be detuning some of his pace, like to just
I'm not sure.
it.
Vlembar is one of these drivers that will just carry on to the end of the rally on his pace. Like, he'll drive 99% and keep to that 99%, and he's quite safe doing that pace normally. So, you know, top 20 time there, P18. Just Kamikaze there, yeah. P17 I spotted. So, you know, he's getting a bit of time back, but not too much. But yeah, with one stage to go, you've just got to, well, it's power stage anyway. You've got to push flat out. You want the points.
Yep, just seeing Vlembar fly over those jumps in that Mitsubishi, that is spectacular. We do have cars out on the power stage though, so this is Punju just kicking off his power stage here, and let's see what they can do out here, because this is all for points, all matters, but there's a few close battles out there too in the overall standings.
Yeah, I say if Vlembar gets a puncture or something, or has problems, he's less than 30 seconds ahead of Ryan, so it's not all done and dusted here. And anything can happen really. I've noticed Henry Cookie dropped 30 seconds in that previous stage, so not the pace they would have wanted to run. But yeah, I'm trying to find a battle between Punju. Aerotech looks like he's quite ahead, looking to try and get into the top 50s, 52nd after stage 12, but he's considerably ahead of Punju, and obviously Ancephalosis has fallen by the wayside a little bit, so Punju looks safe as well in, I think that's P5 in the Crater Series. So yeah, the gaps, obviously with the mistakes, they're sort of spacing themselves out a little bit more.
I'd be interested to know the difference between Aerotech and JPH after stage 12, because they were split by a second going into stage 11.
I've just found their gap. That's a very good point. Yes, Aerotech and JPH. I did miss JPH, I do apologise. They are separated by 2.1 seconds.
Well, that is something to
favor of JPH.
Who's the advantage?
Yeah, JPH ahead.
Okay, so Aerotech has a chance of dethroning JPH shortly before he goes on holiday, so that is a close battle to watch here through this power stage. So let's ride on board of Aerotech, and when JPH steps off in his stage, we'll also bring him into the equation. Of course, Aerotech in his favoured weapon of choice, the Citroen Zara from the early noughties, famously driven by Sebastian Loeb and Duvel, is it? Duvel?
You had many known drivers that drove that car. Obviously, Loeb. Oh, that's a crash by Aerotech, and he's not going to get out of that 8-second reset penalty on the spectators. That might be it, done and dusted. JPH won't know about it, a bit like in real life. He's already in the stage, that's it. Maybe there's a viewer that will tell him about that if they're watching the broadcast, but unless that happens, as JPH makes a mistake as well, clipping the wall, it's all happening now. But, that's the drama of the power stage. Everybody wants to push and gain points at the end of the day. But yeah, that's Citroen, driven by many, many famous drivers. McRae, Loeb, Sainz, Duval, Danny Sordo. It was before Sebastien Ogier's time, if I remember correctly. He arrived when the C4 was already about. But yeah, you've had many drivers step into the seat of that car and given it a good old chance. Let's put it that way. But looking at this, JPH looks more calm and committed on this stage. He looks like to have a bit more of the ideal lines, I'd say. I think that's because everybody uses this stage as a bit of practice. I'm not sure who was saying that earlier, but yeah, it looks like Aerotech's having a huge amount of problems in this stage.
Yeah, it's I think it's part of that 3 kilometer stage, right?
Yeah, the first stages, yeah.
Yeah, the first half. So it's it's driven often, right, isn't it? And JPH just using his experience and recalling it, just trying to avoid the snowbanks through here, go over the bridge, and then there's a bank upwards towards the right, and just recalling all that. It's a good one to have a power stage on, because there should be not many mistakes. I say that Aeros obviously had that 8-second penalty, and I'm really hoping I'm not going to jinx JPH here, because he'll be off to a good
nearly
result.
did.
Yeah.
He was off into the snowbank, then he tapped the snowbank, which is a 50-50 whether it gives you serious damage. So I think he's gone away with it. But yeah, you're definitely you're making sure that we have a little bit of drama at the end. I can commend that.
Yeah, absolutely. We want the drama. It's a Crater Series. We want the drama. So 440, I believe that was for Aerotech over the line. So the magic number for JPH is, I'm guessing, somewhere about 430 for him. Let's say 429. And
he just has to do better than 440. Oh, he nearly clipped the spectators then.
He had to do better than that. That was bum clench time. That was for the spectators and for him, because that would have been a 30-second reset penalty. It's non-negotiable. I've tried many times at the rolling finish to say, hey, that wasn't a spectator, it was a ghost. But they don't take that as an excuse. The stewards in EA Sports WRC. It's unfair, but JPH a little bit lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the spectators have a gap to the stage for a reason, because if a car gets out of control, which it certainly can, as you can see both in real life and in the game, you know, you need to have that little bit of margin for error. But I still think the pace is better here from JPH. I'm just looking at the lines; it's very committed and quite fast. So I think Aerotech will probably know that it's probably game over here unless JPH makes a big mistake. Looking at the times, I think that should be fine as long as he nails this jump here. You're basically home and dry after this. There's a few medium speed corners, but there shouldn't be too much of a reason to go wrong after this. But then again, there's a lot of pressure, and JPH doesn't know that Aerotech has made a mistake, and you can easily go off in sympathy and you know, ruin your rally that way. It's happened many times, including in the Creator Series. So you know, you just got to keep confident and do the maximum that you can. And I think Vlembar's sort of strategy of just driving your own rally really pays dividends at that point, because if you can't go any faster, you can't go any faster at the end of the day. You just got to go for it. And I think JPH is definitely pushing the limits of this car. The car is fishtailing every single corner. It's just not going where he wants it to go, and yet he's still managing to keep it on the course. It's going to be comfortably under the time he needs. And there you go. JPH secures a P4, if I'm correct, in the Creator Series standings provisionally.
I think that was about 10 seconds under the time, so even without that penalty for Aerotech, that wouldn't have made a difference. So at least he can say, well, I gave it my all, and that penalty didn't really count for too much. But 30-second penalty from a spectator for JPH, if he hit them, that would have been enough. So he was lucky to avoid them, and yes, lives fight another day, secures that position. Aerotech relegated out of it, of course. Vlembar out there coming towards the final sector lines. Realistically, I haven't seen anything dodgy here. His time looks to be well within reason of where he needs to be to finish. Keeping an eye on him in the background, I haven't seen him make any mistakes. So this could be certainly fastest on the broadcast. I say that because there's some easer geezer keep coming around and beating everyone after they've finished their times, but I can't remember his name. But over through the flying, the finish, a 4:12. That's a superb time from Vlembar. That could be enough to pick up the 5 points as well.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. Maybe Ryan can get close to that. He's certainly looking to have a good stage. The time is a little bit behind what I'd expect here. Not really sure why. He's going to be quite, I think, significantly off here. Well, he will be if he clips that tree. I think. No, I'm not sure. Now you've got me second guessing now, because
I know nothing. Remember, so.
No, the car's braking too good into that corner. No puncture, but he's annoyed. He's definitely been off. He's had some sort of problem.
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, actually,
or 17.
He said, "Come on, that's what we're talking about." So I think he was quite happy with that one. So,
well,
yeah. That's the problem with Isaac Music. He watches, non-aliens like Ryan. He goes, "Oh, he must be unhappy with that one." Oh no, he's happy with it.
I thought I killed it then at the end.
No, I was just looking from the fact that he made a little bit of a mistake there, and I thought maybe he was exclaiming. I don't always have sound on the broadcast because too often I hear my own voice, and the voices up here. There's enough of them, as they say. So. A good stage, must admit, very, very good stage. But I'm noticing the standout performance is actually Henry Cookie, 12th overall on that stage with a 4:13. Although I haven't refreshed my leaderboard. Was Vlembar 4:12?
Yeah, it's a second behind.
Yeah, second behind. Yeah, my leaderboard hadn't refreshed here, so that is incredibly close.
Should we get Vlembar in for a quick chat?
I think we should.
Yeah, well. We'll pull him in. You can hear him. We can't see his screen quite yet, but Vlembar, you have at least within the broadcast,
Yeah.
won that rally. I can be confident with that in the creators. There could be someone who comes along and spoils your thunder once again. Who knows? But
Maybe.
yeah, that was impressive out there. 4-12 on the power stage we saw you do. Really consistent, really nice, and possibly picking up 5 points in the power stage as well.
Yeah, at the moment it's looking very good. Obviously, I got lucky with Kami that he not only had like his crash where he got the punctures, but also some weird issue where he kept getting penalties from the service for some reason. Got like a minute penalty basically after every service.
Who did that? Kami?
Yeah, Kami.
That's interesting.
That is
Never heard of
interesting.
that one. That's
Me
a new
neither.
one.
I
to
was
write
also
in.
surprised.
That's the extra 1,000 points I gave him at the start of the book.
Could be. Yeah, now beside that, yeah, was except some few small mistakes, was way better than I expected in the Mitsubishi. So yeah, I'm definitely happy, and yeah, at the moment full points. So I think that's a good way to start the season with a second and first place at the moment. So yeah, I'm certainly happy.
If I'm correct, we have 3 crossover rounds with the real life WRC calendar, which are either run in the WRC cars or the WRC2 cars. Are you feeling confident for those, or are you more confident with the rallies that are being run in the different classes?
I don't know about next week, Iberia and the WRC cars. Iberia is not my favorite, and then having basically one of the fastest classes there is certainly not gonna help me. Yeah, I don't expect much there, but the rest should be fine. And yeah, obviously rear-wheel drive in the penultimate round we'll have to see there of the Group B. So yeah, but beside that, the other 4 rounds basically, yeah, I think I can perform also good there.
Brilliant. Well, good start to the season. I will declare you the winner, even though someone could still ruin your day. But it looked impressive out there. Again, in the Lancer as well. What a thing to do. That's a bravo moment for yourself, because it's often picked as a meme car. So to go and win any, of course, everyone kind of has been fair, not pick the C4s, etc. But even said that maybe one of your most calm and considered wins.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. And also, yeah, I wanted to try something different with the Mitsubishi. Yeah, it didn't disappoint, to be honest. I was expecting to have, like, in terms of performance and like how I drive, maybe a bit more problems, but I did not really. So yeah, the car certainly surprised me.
Excellent. Well,
you must have been playing the Eurobeat in that Mitsubishi.
Felt like it.
We'll let you go anyway, Bar. And yeah, appreciate it, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Cheers.
I think we got time for one more interview. And while I waffle on and make sure I actually pull him up in the background, it will be the man who drives the Zara who will be joining us for an interview.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a topsy-turvy rally or start to the season, let's say, as Aerotech. And hopefully he can join us in the comms box. Yes, I think he's in now. It's been a bit of one of those rallies, hasn't it? With a few highs, a few lows. Are you happy with the performance?
I don't know, man, because I'm never happy, and it sucks even more that like every mistake I made was really stupid, like really out of character. This stage I'm not as upset about, because this is the stage like I'm really timid here, but I had a big roll, like destroyed the car, a puncture for the first time in a long time, just a lot of really uncharacteristic mistakes. But when I wasn't hitting anything, we were running like 40th, 45th in the Zara, and I was surrounded by C4s. So I don't know how much better we could have done without a lot of those major mistakes, because it's like 50th and up. Like, I don't think I lost over a minute due to my own stupidity. But definitely a lot of what ifs and what could have been. But overall, I'm not disappointed. Just knew I could have done a lot better.
yeah, I mean, you're picking that Zara last time you ran the C4, of course. Did it feel like going back to a nice comfy slipper today out there?
I refer to my Zara as a she, and it's like going back to an old friend. I definitely am really comfortable in this car. Punju actually pointed out this is the first car I drove in Creator Series ever. Was Sweden in the Zara, so it was nice to come back here and kind of see some more competitive times instead of being 100th, 150th. It was 40th and 45th, and kind of around there. I'll never be upset to drive this car, and I was especially knowing going into it, like, hey. Like a couple of the modern cars are just going to be faster, and that is what it is. To just be in the mix is still a huge accomplishment. In terms of how it drives, like there's no real. I don't really I like it more than the C4, honestly. I get that it's probably slower, but I just like the way the front end moves. You can be more aggressive on the throttle. The C4 has this really bad power on understeer that I could never figure out. Maybe there's something in the setup that I wasn't doing properly or what, but it could just never gelled with me. I could tell it was a quicker car. It just never meshed, really. So I'll always take a good excuse to drive this thing.
Yeah, at the moment you're sat, I think P5 in the Creator Series, so it's a good haul of points as well. And it's sad to say just outside of the top 50, which I know is always a goal of yours. But, I think that's a good improvement, as you said, compared to a couple of seasons ago. Do you think, are you becoming a more rounded driver with this, or are you just still, using your experience from other fields to get you where you need to be?
So I think my biggest thing now is I need to drive as hard as that top 50 consistently. It's nice to see yourself be 65th and kind of work your way into those positions through consistency. But if I want to do any better, especially I think we're going to be doing these like off meta, like B tier, A tier car picks more often this season. I need to drive faster. I need to go out of my comfort zone. I need to push 105%, which I usually don't do. And a lot of the stages today that I knew, which was like the Umea and Umea based ones, and then the 20K stage that was in the base game, I did try. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So there was a couple moments too where I would brake about as late as I could, but I again, even in the Umea, I was like, I'm braking 50 feet, 30 feet early, and I have to get back on the throttle, and that's where I'm losing all my time. It's a lot better than, getting damage and then having to carry that damage and kind of being on the back foot the whole rally rather than just losing some time in one stage. But I think that is what I'm missing now to go box in the top 30, top 25 more consistently, is just driving a lot harder. And that's just going to come with a little bit more experience, practice, setup work. I'm trying to learn how setups work so I don't have to rely on anybody else. Because it's what works for ye might not work for thee, but it's still cool to see improvement. But like I said before, I'm at the point personally where I'm right at my skill plateau. So to go beyond now is going to be a little bit of extra work. But we got a lot of time left, a lot of different cars to drive this season, a lot of different places to go. So there's some opportunity to go up there.
You're talking of that next week, Spain and the WRC cars. Boosty hybrids. Any thoughts for that?
From what I remember from Spain, it's pretty circuity, as in your setups through your corners are really important, especially when there's complexes. The road's wide enough to where you can kind of run a traditional racing line most of the time, but it's also a very technical, lots of turns, and the hybrid for somebody who's a little bit less intelligent is really hard to keep track of when you're driving a 500 horsepower rally car on top of that. So at least on the dirt and on looser surfaces, if you engage hybrid kind of in the wrong place, it can actually lead to some incidents where maybe the front end gets away from you or you slide off track. So being really careful with the hybrid is something that I also need to work on. But hopefully on tarmac, it's something that I can just deal with and kind of cope with, or have a little bit more manipulation over. But we'll see how it ends up next week. Usually the WC ones are pretty fun on tar, so we'll see what happens.
Brilliant. Well, we will let you get on with your night, and unfortunate to not be top 50 today, but still a good performance for yourself. Yeah,
it was always going to be hard in this thing, but that was kind of the goal today. So C52nd, was a kick to the nuts, especially that last stage. Getting a really silly penalty was also pretty annoying. But I don't think I would have had to basically been a minute faster to kind of be where I wanted to be, and there's was a lot of work into it. So we have some stuff to work on for next week, but it's still not a horrible result today, and a really good result along the creators too. I didn't expect to be fighting with JPH. I know he drove the bucket today, but he's a super talented driver.
It's a little pizza.
Like, way, yeah. he's a super talented driver. So to even be boxing with him on some stages apparently was pretty close there towards the end to be top 5 and among the creators, which is usually I'm like 8th. Woo! So still some positives to take out today. I'm not happy, but I will be once I kind of pace around my room and grumble for a bit.
That's a good way of saying it, yeah, for sure. But I think it's a positive start to the season nonetheless, isn't it?
Yeah, 22nd or 26th or something like that last week, and then a pretty decent result this week. It's good points overall on the leaderboard. I barely stuck into the top 50 last season, and this club's only getting more and more difficult, more and more creative. Not creative. That's the name of the club. It's only getting more and more competitive. So a top 50, 3 seasons ago, it's like a top 75 now. So I'm hoping for a top 40 this season. That'd be cool. But we have a whole lot. We have a lot of rallies left.
Go for top 1. Why not?
Ah, man, I couldn't take that from Izza. I couldn't do it. I can't use 100% of my power, man. That's just
Well, on that
he's gonna start drifting, and make me look stupid. So no.
Well,
I'm not going to comment. I'm not commenting.
Isaac Music's been baited here. Well, on that note, Aero, thank you very much, and have a great night.
You too, guys. Thank you very much.
Always love to hear from Aero. Always lovely to hear from Aero, especially when he baits you out at the end of the broadcast, which is brilliant. You'll be streaming later on, won't you, Isaac?
I think I should be. Yes, yeah. Probably into a snowbank on stage 1 or something like that.
Yeah, well, where can they find you? That's the way we end the broadcast, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed. You can find me, that username down there is amusing, where usually it's in the snowbank or a tree somewhere. We've seen a lot of that tonight. There'll be more to come, I'm sure. Will we see you, Gareth, driving?
I will try and squeeze a run in. I don't know if I'll be able to complete the club though today, but maybe next week. Is it Tarmac? Rally Iberia.
It is Tarmac, yes. Rally Spain.
I'm particularly dreadful at Tarmac, so I will. I'll be sure to hop on and just do dismally. But I won't be anywhere. Gareth Allen TV if you want to follow me really somewhere. But mainly behind the desk at the Creator Series nowadays. So the most important thing is following those stuff upstairs, isn't it, Isa?
Yeah, well, I also want to take the opportunity to do a shout out to our producer. Oh, wait, hang on, it's Gareth Allen.
There we are. Let's get this up.
Here we go again. Yeah. And on that note,
B-Roy's just raided. Hello, B-Roy. Thank you for the raid. And we're about to end though, so sorry, B-Roy raid.
Yeah, sadly, on that note, the show has been and gone. The drivers have indeed given their all, and for Vlembar and Ryan, for the moment, it's been a standout performance. They've done their best on the snowy Sweden stages. That's a tongue twister right there. But for people like Kamikaze, it will be an event to regret, with a mistake and a few technical issues cropping up, sadly. We hope to see him back at some point, and we know how fast he is, and it's early in the season, so I'm sure our drivers can rebound if they've had a few bad results. But apart from that, it's time to end the show, sadly. You can catch us here next week. If you want to, for some more WRC content, you should. And if not, you can catch us on Saturday evenings for the F1 Creator Series as well. That's good to tune into because it's the season finale, isn't it, Gareth?
It is, yeah. Tim and Marek versus some bloke called Formula Karim. It'll be. Wouldn't it be funny if they both DNF'd after lap 1? Ratton's just raided. I was literally about to raid him, so I've got to find another person to raid. Scramble. We'll end the broadcast there. But thank you very much for everyone for tuning in, and have a great evening.